Hello all, this is the new project voting system, and in this project we are going to see how the user can register, how the data of the user should be stored inside the database, using that data how we have to log in, and using this login credentials how the user can vote to that particular participant. Okay, we are going to make this simple project, and in this I will be showing you the demo of this project. And before that, let me just tell you, this is the project for complete beginners. Okay, those who know little bit concepts of PHP, okay, that is the basic level of PHP, you can get started with this one. Okay, this is not for intermediate level, this is for complete beginners. Because in this project I have not encrypted any data. Okay, whatever data I am sending to the database, that is in the plain text format. Okay, because when I uploaded PHP advanced correct project, many people messaged me in Instagram stating that make a project for complete beginners. Okay, so I am just making project for them. Later in future videos I will be making intermediate level as well as advanced level project. So as of now this is a complete beginner level project. Before that only I am telling you, because if you want you can see this project, or if you want you can just skip this project, because this is for complete beginner levels. And as I told you, I have not encrypted any data. Whatever data I am sending inside the database, that will be in the plain text format. Okay, I am inserting password, mobile, username, everything I am going to insert in the plain text format. Okay, and also this is not advanced level because I have just used Bootstrap here. HTML, as we all know, we have to use HTML, and I have used Bootstrap here. CSS I have not included because most of the people have their own creativity. Okay, they want to create their own designs. So I am not going to focus much on CSS, but I am not going to skip any of the part. Whatever I have done here, whatever front end you can see and whatever back end we are going to do, everything I am going to do without skipping any part. Okay, so you can follow this one completely, and I will be explaining you each and every step, and also I will be telling you how to use Bootstrap in this project. Okay, I have not used any Ajax, any JavaScript is not included in this. Only HTML, Bootstrap and PHP we are going to use. In this video I will be showing you the demo of the project, and here you can see here I am having this heading voting system. Inside this I have just created one form, and inside this I am having login, enter your name, mobile number, password, and inside this select I am having this group and voter. Okay, two things I am having here. Group is nothing but, okay, the participant who has participated, and the voter is nothing but we. Okay, we have to vote for that group, and also group can vote. Okay, now here I am having this one. Now here I am just going to enter some data. Let me just write here, and here let me just write some mobile number. Password I am going to write 123, and here I have just selected here group. I'll just click on login, and it is going to tell me invalid credentials. Okay, because inside the database you can see here I don't have anything. Okay, my database is completely empty. Let me just refresh this one. Now you can see here I have just created the database called voting, and inside this I'm having this login details. I don't have any data inside this. Okay, all the fields are empty, so I'm just getting here invalid credentials. And here below this I'm having don't have an account, then register here. Now once I click on register here, it is going to open another page, and inside this I'm having this register account, and here I'm having some more additional fields like enter your name, mobile number, password, confirm password, and also it is asking for photo. Then below this I'm having this select. Once I click on register, whatever data I'm having inside this form, this entire data will be stored inside this database, and whatever data I'm having inside the database, using that data I can log in that one, and I can vote for that particular group. Okay, now here I'm just going to write this one. Let me just write here Khanam. Mobile number I'm just going to write this. Password I'll just write here 123. Confirm password 123. If both the password matches, only then I will be able to register successfully, or else I will not be able to register successfully. And here I'm just going to select one image, and from here let me just select this one. Let me just select this butterfly, and here I am just going to give voter. Okay, as of now I am just going to give voter. I'll just click on register button. Once I click, you can see I will be getting registration successful. I'll just click on OK. Now okay, it is redirected to login page. Okay, here I am redirected to login page. I'll just come to database. I'm just going to refresh this one. Now you can see here whatever data I have entered, that is been inserted here. Okay, this status and votes I have given as 0. Later on it is going to be updated by itself whenever I vote the person. Okay, you can see all the data is been in text format, so you don't have to worry. As I told you, this is for complete beginner levels. You can submit this project as a complete beginner level. Okay, you are not going to make this kind of project when you are working in industries or when you are working in some companies. You will not be making this kind of projects. Let me be clear with that. You will be encrypting all the data. Okay, even if the database is getting hacked, whatever data we are having inside the database, that should not get robbed. Okay, so we are not going to store the data in the text format. We will always store the data in the encrypted format. Okay, so for that you can do password hashing. As of now we are not going to see, but in my later videos I am going to do intermediate level project, then you will understand that in more better way. Now this data is been inserted and here I have redirected to login page. Now from here I am just going to copy this username. I'll just copy this one and here I am going to paste. Then password. Okay, let me just copy this mobile number. I'll copy this mobile number and here I am just going to paste. Then password 123 and my voter was, okay, whatever standard I have given, that is nothing but voter. So I'm just going to select voter. I'll just click on login. Once I click on login, you will see that I will be redirected to dashboard page, and inside this you can see here it is telling me no groups available right now. Okay, now I don't have any groups to vote, but you can see here I'm having this user profile. I'm having the name, mobile number and the status. You can see here not voted because I have not voted anything, and also groups are not present here. So here I am having no groups available right now to vote. Here you can see here I am having two buttons, back button and logout button. I'll just log out from here. Okay, now here I am just going to register as a group now. Now here let me just write here Sanya. Mobile number I am just going to give same because I don't want to give another mobile number. Password also I am just going to give 123. I'll just select one photo from here, and photo let me just write here book. Book I am going to give, and instead of this Sanya let me just write here book. Okay, my group name is book and photo I have selected as book. Now here I am giving here group. I'll just click on register. Okay, once I click you can see registration successful. Okay, I'll just come to database. I'll refresh this one. Now that data will be stored as a group now. I'll come here. Now you can see here I'm having book. Okay, my username is book now. That is nothing but group. You can see inside standard I'm having this group. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this one and here I'm just going to paste. Then mobile number is the same. Password 123. Now I'm just going to select group here. I'll just click on login. Now once I click on login, you can see here I'll be getting this group. Okay, whatever group I have inserted, that group will be coming here. Okay, now this group can vote for this group. Okay, group can also vote for that particular group, and also voter can use. Okay, how many groups I will be adding, that many groups will be coming here. Okay, now I'll just log out from here. I'll just log in using user now. I'll copy, I'll paste mobile number, password 123. I'll just click on voter. Okay, this is Khanam. Okay, let me just copy Khanam and here I'm going to paste. I'll just log in. Okay, now once I log in using Khanam, you can see for Khanam I'm getting this group. Okay, because only one group I have added inside the database, so that group is been displayed now. Now you can see the status of Khanam is not voted, and here I'm having this button to vote. Now I'm just going to vote for this one. Okay, I have just voted and here I'm having voting successful. I'll just click on OK. Now you can see the button is been changed to voted and the status of Khanam is voted now. Okay, this is how we are going to create this one, and also you can see the votes is been increased to 1 and the group name is nothing but book. Okay, if you want you can add any group name. That is basically a participant who is participated in voting, and we are the voters. We are going to vote this particular person. Okay, now here I'm just going to log out. Now using another user I'm just going to register here. Let me just register using Sanya, and here mobile number I'm just going to give same, password. Okay, now if I just don't give same password, you can see the passwords are different now. I'll just choose one image from here. I'll just select this image, open. I'll be using as a voter. Okay, I'll just go as a voter. I'll just click on register. You can see passwords do not match. I will be getting this alert. So here again I'm just going to register using Sanya. I'll just give the same mobile number, password 123. I'm going to select one file from here. I'll just select this bookmark. Then finally I'm just going to give here voter. I'll just click on register. Okay, now registration successful, and also I'm just going to register one group here. Let me just write here browsers. Okay, browsers I'm just going to write password 123, confirm password 123, choose file, and from here I'm just going to select one browser's image. Let me just scroll down. Okay, here I'll be selecting this one, and here, okay, as a group I'm just going to register. I'll just click on register, registration successful. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Okay, now inside the database, that one user, okay, voter, and also the group will be added. You can see all the voter and the group will be added. Now basically I'm having 2 groups and 2 voters now. Now you can see for status, you can see status has been updated, and for this group, okay, for this book group I have got 1 vote, and vote is also been updated here. Now status has been updated to 1 because Khanam is already voted, so I'm having the status as 1. If, okay, Sanya is not voted, so I'm having the status as 0. Now once Sanya vote for any one of this group, then the status will be changed to 1 here. Okay, now I'll be logging through Sanya. Okay, now for Sanya I will be having 2 groups available. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm going to paste. Then I'm just going to copy this mobile number. I'll just paste. I'll just give the password, and finally I'm just going to give the voter because Sanya is the voter. I'll just click on login. Okay, now you can see for Sanya I'm having 2 groups. That is nothing but book group and browsers group. Okay, for books I'm having this 1 vote because Khanam is already voted for this one, so the vote is been updated. Okay, now here I'm having this Chrome. Okay, now Sanya is not voted, so I'm having the status as not voted. Now once I give the vote for this one, you can see here voting successful, and the votes will be updated here, and you can see the status is voted now. Now Sanya cannot vote. Okay, only once the person can vote, and now here I will be having this one. Now if I register using another user, and if I vote for this particular browsers, then the voting gets updated. Okay, now let me just come to database. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here the status of Sanya is been changed to 1, and the votes of browsers is been changed to 1. Okay, this is how we are going to make the simple voting system. Let me just repeat this again. This project is for complete beginner level because I have not encrypted any data. You cannot use this project as an intermediate level, and you cannot use this project in any companies or any industries. That's all from my end. This was the demo of our project, and we are going to make this project now. So let's get started with this project. We are going to start the front end. Okay, we will be creating this login page. We will be designing this login page using Bootstrap. Okay, if you are using PHP, then you have to install one server. Okay, you can install XAMPP or WAMP. Okay, based on your requirement, you can install anything. I have just downloaded this one. Okay, XAMPP server, and inside this I have just started this Apache and MySQL. Okay, Apache will be acting as a local server because we are using PHP here, and MySQL is the database itself. Whatever data we are going to register, that data we are going to store inside the database. So here I am just going to use MySQL database. Okay, we just have to start this one. Now once it is done, okay, wherever you have installed XAMPP, just come to that one. Okay, whichever disk you have installed, just come there, and inside that I am having this XAMPP folder, and inside that I will be having this htdocs folder, and inside htdocs I have just created one folder called voting. Now inside this voting, okay, you can see it's completely empty. This folder is completely empty. We are going to write the code completely from the scratch, and also I will not be skipping any of the part, not even front part as well as back end I am going to do completely. Okay, just right click on this and open with code. Okay, now once you click on that, you can see this will be opened, and in this complete project I will be using VS Code editor. You can choose your favorite code editor and also favorite browser in whichever you are comfortable. Okay, now here I will be having this get started. I'm just going to close this one. You can see this is completely empty. Now here I'm just going to create one file that is nothing but index.php. Okay, now inside this we are going to create the login page. Then later on we will be designing the registration page, dashboard page, everything we will be designing one by one. Now before that, let me just copy this path. Now here I am just going to paste that path. I'll just remove from here, and here I'll just write localhost. Okay, now you can see it's completely empty. I don't have anything here. It's completely blank. Let me just bring here. Okay, now we are going to design like this. So before that, let me just write here HTML boilerplate. I'll just write this one, and it is going to provide you the boilerplate. I'll just enter. You can see this is the boilerplate that has been ready for me. Now here inside this title, I'm just going to write here PHP voting system. Now I have changed the title. Let me just come here. I'll refresh this one. You can see here the title has been changed to PHP voting system. Now here, let me just close this one. Now below this title, I'm just going to write one comment, and here I'll be writing Bootstrap CSS link. And here I'm just going to search for Bootstrap. I'll just click on this first link. In this project, I will be using complete Bootstrap, okay, so that we will not waste our time in styling, and we are not going to focus much on CSS part. Okay, here I'm just going to click on get started. Now from here I'm just going to copy this CSS link. Okay, whatever link I'm having here, I'm just going to click on copy. I'll just copy that one, and below this I'm just going to paste that link. Okay, if you want you can just remove this one. Okay, till here if you want you can remove, or else you can just keep as it is. Okay, but if you are using Bootstrap in your bigger projects, okay, then you don't have to remove this one. Okay, it should be there. Okay, now once we are done with linking the CSS, now for entire body I have just given the background color as dark. You can see, okay, my entire body is black color. So for that, here I'm just going to give the Bootstrap class, and here I'll just write BG dark. BG dark. I'll save this. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see my entire background is black. Okay, now first I'm having this H1 heading. Below this I'm having this container, and inside this container I'm having this form. Okay, now we are going to style one by one. Below this body I'm having H1, and inside this H1 I'm just having the title as voting system. I'll just save this one. I'll come here. I'll refresh this. Okay, now you can see here I'm having this voting system, but it's not visible because by default each and every text will be having black color, so it's not visible. So I'm just going to change the color, and also I will bring that in the center. Now here I'm just going to write the class, and for this I'm just going to give the Bootstrap class text info, and also I want the text in the center, so I'm just going to write here text center. I'll refresh this. Now you can see here I'm having this one. Okay, now if you see here I'm having some space, so for that I'm just going to give some padding. Now here I'm just going to give padding of 3. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having some space. Now below this I'm having one container. Inside that container I'm having one heading, and below that I'm having this form. So below this H1 I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'm just going to give the class as BG info. And inside this div I'm just going to write H2, and here I'm just going to write login. I'll save. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the background color is been BG info, and the text whatever I have written here, that is changed to black color. Now for this H2 I'm just going to give the class. First I'll just give here text center. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having this login. Now below that I'm having this form. Now below this H2 I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'll just give the class name as container. Now inside this container I'm just going to create the form. Now I'll just write here form, and action as of now I'm not going to give anything. Later on I'm just going to create login page, and whenever I click on this login page, whatever code I have written in the background, that should be executed. Okay, as of now I'm just going to leave it as empty. Now inside this form I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'm just going to give the class as MB3, which means that from margin bottom I'm just going to give 3 space. Now inside this I'm just going to create one input field. Type let it be text. Name I'm just going to give the username because I am going to enter username. ID as of now I don't need. I'm just going to remove this ID, and also I'm just going to give this placeholder. And inside this I'm just going to give here enter your username. And also I'm just going to give here one and I'm just going to give here required is equal to required. Okay, because whenever I enter this data, I need this data. So I'm just going to write here required is equal to required. Okay, that should be required is equal to required. I'm just going to write that one. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having this input field. Okay, now this suggestions, if you don't want, you can just give autocomplete is equal to off, but I need this suggestion, so I am not giving autocomplete is equal to off. Okay, now below that you can see here I am having all these containers. Before that, let me just style this one. Okay, for this we are just going to give some Bootstrap classes. Now here inside this I am just going to give the class that is nothing but form control. Okay, this is Bootstrap class. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see that size. Okay, whatever size I was having, that is been increased now. Now I don't want this complete 100%. I want only 50% of the width. Okay, you can see only 50% it is taken. You can see here only 50% of the width it is taken. So for that, here I'll be giving width -50. I'll save. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see now the width is reduced to 50%, and also I'm just going to give here margin auto, so that it will come in the middle. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see that has come in the middle. We are done with this enter your username. Then I am having mobile number, password and this select. So for mobile number I am just going to copy this one. I'll just paste that one here, and instead of type let it be text. Okay, type let it be text, and this everything will be same, and instead of username I'm just going to change it to mobile. I'll just copy this, enter your mobile, and also let me just give here maximum length and minimum length. Maximum length is equal to 10, and also minimum length I'm just going to give here 10. Okay, without entering 10 digits I cannot insert the data, so here I'm just going to give here minimum length to be 10. I'll save this. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having enter your mobile. Then I'm having for password, I'll just come here, I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'm going to paste. Now for this type I'm just going to give here password. I'll just copy this password, and here I'm going to paste enter your password. Okay, and also I'm just going to remove this entire thing. Okay, I don't need this one. Then finally below that I'm having this section. Let me just refresh this. Now here I'm having password. Now below this I'm having this select, and inside this I'm having two values, group and voter. So now below this div container I'm just going to create another div, and also for this I'm just going to give margin bottom of 3. Now inside this I'm just going to write this select, and inside this select name I'm just going to give here standard, and ID I don't need, I'm just going to remove this. Okay, name attribute we have to give in each and every input field because this is very important. Form related video I have uploaded in my HTML series video. If you want you can refer that one if you are not understanding what elements we are using inside the form. Okay, now here I'm just going to write option. I'm having two values. So first, inside this first value I'm just going to give group. Then second I'll be having voter. So here I'm just going to give voter. Now inside this I'm just going to pass the same thing. I'll just write here group, and also here I'm just going to write here voter. I'll save this. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I am having this group. Okay, now for this I have not given width and margin auto. So here I am getting this output. So what I am going to do is I'll just copy this class. Okay, this width 50 and margin auto I am just going to copy, and inside this select I am just going to paste that one. Okay, now here I am just going to give the class. Okay, before giving that let me just write here form control. Now once I give this one it is going to take complete 100%. I'll refresh this. You can see it is taking complete 100%. Now I am just going to decrease its width to 50% and margin auto, so that it will come in the middle. Okay, now here I am having this output. Now whenever I click on this you can see here I am having two options. Okay, group and voter. Okay, now below that I am having, okay, margin bottom I have given here because now if I just remove this class, I'll save this, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see they will not be having any space from below. So here I have just given margin bottom of 3. You can give 4 or 5 based on your requirement. Then below this div container I am having button, submit button I am having. So here I am just going to create the button, and for this button I am just going to give the type as submit. Type is equal to submit. I'll save this. I'll just refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I am having this button, but I am not having any data inside that. So here you can see only button I am having. So inside this first I am just going to give here login, and also I am just going to give some classes for this. I'll just give here class. Before that let me just show you the output here. You can see here I am having this login button. Now this login button I want in the middle, and also I just want to change the color. So for that first I have to give this button BTN. Then I am just going to give here BTN dark. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see the button color, background color is been changed to dark color, and also from below I don't have any spacing. So here I'm just going to give margin Y of 4. Okay, from top and bottom I'm just going to give margin Y, which means that top and bottom. Margin B means only bottom. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see from top and bottom I got some margin. Then below that I'm having this paragraph, don't have an account, register here. So below this button I'm just going to create this anchor tag, and inside this anchor tag I am not going to pass anything as of now. Later on I am just going to pass. So inside this as of now I'm just going to write href, and here I'm just going to write register here. Register here. I'll save this. I'll refresh this. I'll refresh my project. You can see here I am having this register here. Before that I am having this don't have an account. So here below this button I'm just going to create one paragraph, and inside this I'm just going to write that one. Okay, I'll just copy the text from here, don't have an account, and here I'm just going to paste that one. And this entire anchor tag I'm just going to copy, and inside this I'm just going to wrap that one. I'll save this. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the paragraph has come down because paragraphs are block level elements and it will be taking complete 100%. So this line has come down. Now for this I'm just going to change the color, and also I'm just going to give some space here. I'll just give some space. Now for this I'm just going to give the class, and inside this class I'm just going to give here text white. Text white. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. You can see the color is being changed. Now this button and this paragraph I want in the middle. So for this div container, okay, this div container is containing all the things. Now inside this div container I am having this form. Now for this div container I am just going to give here text to be center. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see that entire thing, whatever I was having, that has come in the middle. Now if you see here below this I am having some spacing, and above this I am having some spacing. Okay, so for that here I'm just going to give some padding Y. Okay, top and bottom I need, so here I'm just going to give some padding. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see we are done with this one. Okay, here I'm having enter your mobile number. Okay, let me just change that one. Now here enter your mobile number. Let me just change that one. I have just changed that one to enter your mobile number, but here you can see here I am not getting that arrow symbol. Okay, it's not indicating. Let me just check for that one. Okay, now inside this select, okay, instead of form control I just have to write here form select. Okay, for select we have to write form select, and for input fields we have to write form control. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I am having this arrow symbol which will indicate me that we are having some drop down. Whenever I click I am having two options here, group and outer. Okay, now this is the simple front end for login part. We are done with this login part. Now whenever I click on this register button, I should be redirected to register.php, and inside that we have to make this kind of form. Let me just come to the project. When I click on register here, I should be redirected to this page, and inside this we are going to create this kind of form. Okay, now once we are done with this, we are going to connect to the database. We will be creating databases, we will be creating table, and later on we are going to register and we will be inserting data inside the database. Now whenever I click on this register here, I should be redirected to another page, and their register page should be open. And now we are going to style that one. Okay, now here let me just show the demo. Okay, we are going to style this kind of registration account. Here I am having this login. Whenever I click on this login, I should be redirected to login page. Whenever I click on this register here, I should be redirected to this page. Okay, now we are going to style this registration account. Now here inside this I am having this index.php. I'll just do Control B. Now here I am just going to create one folder. Let me just write here partials.php. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to create the folder partials, and inside this I'm just going to create registration.php. Now inside this registration.php, first I'm just going to write this basic boilerplate of HTML. Now inside this I'm just going to change the title. Let me just write here voting system registration account. Let me just write here registration page. Now below this I just have to link Bootstrap CSS link. So from here whatever link I have pasted there, I am just going to copy, and here I am just going to paste that one. Okay, this entire thing we have done in our previous video, and we have seen how to create login system. This link I have already linked inside index.php. I have just copied from there, and here I have just pasted that one because we are going to use Bootstrap. Okay, now before that inside index.php, here I am having this inside this href. Okay, inside this anchor tag here I am having href. Now inside this href I am just going to give that file path. Okay, now here I am inside this partials folder. I'll just write here partials, and inside that I am having registration.php. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now whenever I click on this register.php, you can see I am redirected to partials folder. Inside that I am redirected to registration.php. Okay, now we are going to style this page. Okay, now we are going to style this page. So inside registration.php, now first inside this body I'm just going to give the class, I'll just write here bg dark, okay, which is going to give me complete background color. Okay, you can see here I got this complete background color as black. Now below this, first I'm just going to create h1, and for this h1 I'm just going to give the class as text center because I want the text in the middle, and also I'm just going to give text info. I'll save, and also I'm just going to write here voting system. I'll save this one. I'll refresh this. Okay, now you can see here I am having this voting system. Now from top and bottom I just want some spacing, so here I'm just going to give padding of 3. Okay, you can give any value for that. I'll just refresh. Okay, now here I am having some spacing. Now below this, here I am having one container. Inside that container I am having this heading, and below this I am having all these forms. Okay, now below this h1 I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'm just going to give the bg info. Okay, bg color I'm just going to give, and also I'm just going to give some padding. Okay, because I'm having some padding inside that one. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this. Okay, now you can see this container is there, but here I'm not having any content inside that one. So now first we are just going to give this h2 heading. Okay, register account. I'll just copy this heading, and I'm just going to create h2, and for this I'm just going to give the class as text center, and inside this I'm just going to paste that text. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I am having this register account. Here I have given text center, so my text has come in the middle. Now below this I am having the form. So this entire form I am just going to wrap inside one div, and for this div I am just going to give the class as container. Okay, in Bootstrap if we use this container class, then it is not going to take complete width. Okay, it will take only the required width. Now inside this container I am just going to create form. Action I am not going to give because whenever I click on register button, I will be redirected to register.php, and inside that file I will be writing the entire code. Now inside this form I am just going to create one div, and for this div I am just going to give some margin bottom. Inside this div container I am just going to create input field, type let it be text, and placeholder I am just going to give here placeholder. I'll just give here enter your username. Then I'm just going to give here required is equal to required, and for this I'm just going to give here name I'll just write here username. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now here I am having this input field. Now for this input field I have not given any Bootstrap class. Okay, so for that here I'm just going to give the class. I'll just write here form control. I'll just refresh this one. Now for this input field I have just given the Bootstrap class, so it is taking complete 100% of the width. Okay, now I don't want this width, I just want only 50% of the width. So for that here I'm just going to give width to be 50. I'll save this, and now you can see here it is going to take only 50% of the width, and also I want this in the middle. So for that here I'm just going to give margin auto. Now once I give this one, this input field will come in the middle. Okay, you can see here this will come in the middle. Now below that here I am having enter your mobile number. So from here I'm just going to copy this entire div container. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste, type will be text, and from here I'm just going to write here mobile number. I'll just write mobile number. I'll just copy this mobile, and inside this name I'm just going to paste that one. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having mobile number. Then I'm having password and confirm password. I'm just going to copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste 2 times for password and confirm password, and type I'm just going to change it to password, and here I'm just going to write enter your password, and instead of this here I'm just going to write confirm password. Then name also I'm just going to give here password, and for confirm password I'm just going to write here C password. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having password and confirm password field. Now below that I am having this image. So for that I'll just come here. I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, now for this image type I'm just going to give here file. Okay, for image we are having type is equal to file, and also I have just given this class. Now for this image we don't need any placeholder, and also I'm just going to remove this required, and instead of this C password I'm just going to write here photo. Okay, these name attributes are very important. Whatever values we are having inside name attribute, using that attribute we are going to access this particular input field. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having this one. Okay, choose file. Whenever I click on this, I can select any image. Now below that I am having this select, and inside that I am having this group and outer. So here I am just going to copy this entire thing again, and here I am just going to paste. Now instead of this input field, I am just going to write here select, and inside name I am just going to write here standard. I'll just remove this ID because I am not going to use ID inside this one. Now inside this select I am just going to create options, and I just want two options. First is my voter and second is my group, and here I am just going to write here group. And inside this text I am just going to write here group, and finally below this I am just going to write here voter. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I am having group and voter. Now for this I have not given bootstrap class, so class is not been applied. So inside this select I am just going to write the class, and class I am just going to write here form select. As soon as I give this one, you can see the bootstrap class will be applied, and it will take complete 100% of the width, but I need only 50%, and also I need that in the middle. So for that, here again I am just going to repeat the same thing. I am just going to give the width as 50 and margin to be auto. I'll save this. Margin auto is nothing but it is going to divide the space equally between left and right. I'll refresh this. Now you can see here I am having this group. Then we are having all these input fields. For mobile number I am having password, for image I am having, then finally for group. Then below this I am having this register button, and finally here I am having some text. Below this I am just going to create the button, and for this I am just going to write here register. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having this register button. Now for this I am just going to give some classes. Now inside this, first let me just give the type. Type is equal to submit, and also I am just going to give the class. Here I am just going to write the class, and inside this class I am just going to write here btn, and also I am just going to write here btn dark, and some margin top and bottom. Let me just write here 4. Okay, y means margin top and bottom. Refresh this one. Now you can see the classes whatever I have given here, that is been applied. Now below that I just have to give that one. Okay, already have an account, then log in here. So here below this I am just going to create one paragraph. Let me just create one paragraph here, and inside this paragraph let me just copy this entire thing. I'll just copy this one, and here I am just going to paste that one. I'll just close this paragraph. Now after this I am just going to create one anchor tag, and inside this href, okay, I have to pass index.php file, because whenever I click on login I should be redirected to home page. So here I am just going to write here home page. Okay, this will come outside of the partials folder, and I will be redirected to home directory, and inside that it is going to select index.php file. I'll just close this one, and also let me just close this anchor tag. Okay, I am not getting suggestions, so I am just typing here, and here I am just going to write login here. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see whenever I click on login, you can see I am redirected to login page. Whenever I click on register here, I am redirected to register page. Now I am just going to change the color, and also I want this button and text in the middle. So for this anchor tag I am just going to give the class. Class I am just going to give here text white. I'll save this. Okay, let me just give this one. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the text is being changed. Now this entire thing I want in the middle. So for that, okay, inside this div container I have wrapped that entire thing. So for this I'm just going to give here text center. I'll save. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see that has come in the middle. Okay, now we are done with login front end part and also registration form front end part. Now first we are going to see how to register and how to insert the data inside the database. Before that we will see how to create database, how to create tables inside that one, and then we are going to create the design for backend, how to register for that particular user. Okay, then we will be doing the login page. Then finally we are going to display the user data. Only then we will be able to make dashboard page, and then user can vote for that particular group. Okay, now we are done with this registration account form. Now in this video we will see how to create database, how to create tables, and also how to connect to the database. Okay, now here I'm just going to open that one. I'll just open localhost PHP my admin dashboard, and inside this first I'm just going to create the database. Okay, this is our PHP my admin dashboard. Now here I'll just click on this new. Okay, here left side you will be having all the databases whatever you have created. Now here I'll just click on new, and here I'm just going to create the database, and here I'm just going to give my database name as voting system. I'll just write here voting system, and here I'm just going to click on create. Now once I give this one, you can see database voting system has been created successfully. Now inside this totally I just need 8 fields. I'll just give here 8. Table name I'm just going to write here user data or participant data, whatever you want, you can just write that one. Once I give this data, I'll just click on go. Okay, now first field I'm just going to give here ID. Second field I'm just going to write here username. Third field I'm just going to give here mobile. Fourth will be password. Then fifth will be the photo, okay, because photo also I'm just going to insert inside the database. Then sixth will be standard, okay, whether the user, okay, whether the participant is a voter or it is a group. Okay, then here I will be having the status, and finally I am going to have votes, okay, how many votes this particular group is having, and status is for whether the user is voted or not. Okay, so for this I am just creating 8 fields. I am having ID, username, mobile, password, photo, standard, status and votes. As I told you in the previous session itself, this is for complete beginner levels, and I am going to store the data in the complete text format. I am not going to do any hashing. I am not going to encrypt any data. So you should be aware of that one, and whenever you are inserting any data, that should always be in encrypted format. Okay, now only for teaching purpose and as a beginner level project, I am just going to do like that. Okay, now for this integer, I am just going to come here. Now here I am having this auto increment. I'll just click on this auto increment. Once I give this one, here I will be having this primary key. Now my ID field will be primary key. Now for this username, I'm going to give the data type as varchar, and length I'm just going to give 100. Then mobile I have just given the type as varchar, and length I'm just going to give here 20. Then for password I'll just give here varchar, length I'll just give here, okay, 200. Let me just write here 100. Then photo I'm just going to give varchar, and length let me just write here 100. Then for standard I'm just going to give here enum data type, okay, enum. I'm just going to give this one. Now once I give this one, I can select values for that. Now basically I'm having 2 values, that is group and voter. Okay, so here I'll just click on edit enum user. Here I'm having edit enum or set values for that one. I'll just click on this. Now first I'm just going to write here group. Then I'm just going to write here voter. Okay, these are the 2 values I'm just going to write. I'll just click on enter. Now you can see here I'm having this one. Now from here I'm just having this comma. I'm just going to remove that one. Okay, now I'll just remove this, and also I'm just going to remove this. I'll just click on go. Now once I remove that, here I'm having group and here I'm having voter. Okay, 2 values I have just added here. Now inside the status, I'm just going to give integer. I'll just give the value as 11. Then again for votes, the data type will be integer and value will be 11. For status, I'm just going to check if my status is 0, which means that the user is not voted. If the status is 1, which means that the user is voted and that user cannot vote again. So for that I'm just giving this status, and votes are nothing but how many votes each group got. So for that I'm just creating that one. Okay, later on using update query we are going to update this one, so you don't have to worry why we are using this states and votes field. Okay, totally we are having 8 fields: ID field, username, mobile, password, photo, standard, status and votes. And for standard I have just given the enum data type, and inside that I have just given the 2 values, that is nothing but group and voter. Now once I select on group, this group value will be stored. If I select voter, this voter value will be stored inside the database. Now once table is created, I'll just click on save. It is processing. Once it is getting loaded, you can see my table is got created now. Now inside this table I am having all these fields. Now you can see after this ID field I am having this key, which means that my ID is primary key. Now all the things, all the data type is been stored here. Okay, now we are going to connect to the database. Only then we will be able to work inside the database. So here inside this I'll just control B. Now here I'm just going to create one folder. I'll just write my folder name as actions. Now inside this actions I'm just going to create one file, connect.php. Now inside this file, first let me just write this basic PHP. Now inside this, first I have to connect to the database. So for that I just need some variables now. So here I'm just going to create one variable connection, and here I'll be writing MySQL connect. Okay, using this method we can connect to the database. First parameter we have to give our server name, that is nothing but localhost. Okay, you can see here localhost we are using, we are having this one, okay, 127.0.0.1. this is nothing but our localhost. Then next we have to give the username. My username is root. Then third parameter is the password. If you have not changed any password, then by default the password will be empty. If you have changed the password, then whatever password you are using, you have to pass that password. If you don't know how to change the password, I have already uploaded the video how to change PHP MyAdmin dashboard password. You can see that one and you can change the password. And here I am just going to give my password demo123, and fourth parameter is our database name. Okay, whatever database I have created, that is nothing but voting system. I can't copy, I am just going to write this voting system here. I'll just write here voting system. Okay, these four parameters I have to pass. First is a server name, then username, then password, then database name. Then below this I have to check, okay, if my connection is successful, then I should be getting this message, connection successful, connection successful. Then else, if I am having some error, let me just remove this, let me just give proper spelling. If I am having some error, I just want to throw that error. So here I will be writing MySQL error, and inside this I am just going to pass this connection variable. If I am having some error, this error will be displayed. I'll just copy this file path, and here I'm just going to paste that one, and from here I'll just remove this. I'll just write here localhost. I'll enter. Now you can see here I am having connection successful, which means that I am successfully connected to the database. Now I can insert the data, delete the data, whatever I want I can do with the database. Okay, now if I just give some other password here, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I'll be getting this error, access denied for the user, and password is S, which means that if you get this kind of error, you have to check whether you have given the proper password, whether you have given the proper database name or root name. Okay, whatever it is, you have to give the proper spellings, only then it is going to work. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I am having connection successful. This file I am going to include in each and every file. So each and every time I don't want this to happen, I don't want this message should be printed. So for that, here I am just telling that if my connection is not successful, only then I have to show this error. I'll just copy that one, and here I am just going to paste that, and from here I'll just remove that. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see this page is completely blank, which means that I don't have any error and my connection is successful, because here I have changed the code. If my connection is not successful, only then I have to show the error. If my connection is successful, then I don't have to display anything. Here I am getting blank page, which means that I am successfully connected to the database. Okay, now we have seen how to create database, how to create tables, and also how to connect to the database. Now we are going to work with the backend, how to register the user inside the database. Okay, we have done all this front end part. Okay, that is nothing but registration form and also login form. Okay, whenever I click on that, it is going to open. Now inside this register form, I will be writing the backend code. Whenever user is registering some data, that data should be stored inside the database. Okay, now we are going to write the backend code for that. Now inside this, here I have created actions folder. Inside that I have this connect.php, and inside this I have connected to the database. Now inside actions folder, I am just going to create register.php. Okay, now inside this register.php, I am just going to write the entire backend code. Before that, let me just come to index.php. Okay, inside this index.php, I have created the form for login. So here inside this partials folder, I am having registration.php, and for this one, inside this form, I am just going to give the action now. Now here, first I am just going to come outside this partials folder. I will come inside this actions folder, and inside actions folder I am having register.php. Just now I created that file. Now here I am just going to write method is equal to post. Okay, basically there are two types of methods, get and post. You can use any one of them, but whenever you are sending password or sensitive data to the database, then you have to use this post method, because whatever data you are sending using get method, that data will be visible inside the URL. So we are going to use post method in this, and also I will be inserting image. So for that we have to write this enc type. Now inside this enc type, I'm just going to write here multi-part, and also I'm just going to write here form data, because I'm inserting image inside the database. So for that we have to include this one. Okay, if we don't include, it means that we are inserting only the text inside the database. But if we include this attribute, then it means that instead of text we are also inserting some other data. Okay, that is nothing but our image. Okay, now here inside this form I have just given this action, and whenever I click on submit button, I should be redirected to this particular folder. Okay, whenever I click on this, I should be redirected to register.php. My register.php is created inside actions folder, so here I have just given the actions folder, and method I have just passed as post, and enc type is nothing but multi-part form data. Okay, now once it is done, I'm just going to come to register.php, and inside this first I have to connect to the database, and for connecting to the database I have already included the code inside connect.php. That is nothing but we have already connected to the database. Now here first I have to include this file. Now here I'm just going to write this php. Now here first I'm just going to include connect.php. So here I'm just going to write connect.php. Okay, I'm not coming outside any folder because register.php and connect.php present in the same folder. Let me just come here. You can see inside this same actions folder itself, I am having connect.php and register.php. So I don't have to come. Okay, I don't have to write like this. Let me just come here. I don't have to write like this. I just have to write this one. Okay, like this or like this. Okay, both it is going to work. Then below this, first I have to access all the values. Now whatever user is entering here, okay, now this values I have to access. I have to store in separate variables. Okay, now to access this values, we have already given name attribute inside input fields. Using that fields, we are going to access this particular value now. Okay, let me just show you here. Now for username, I'm just going to create one variable username, and using post method, I have to access that field value. I'm just going to write here post, and inside this whatever input field, okay, whatever name I have given for this input field, I'm just going to copy, and here I'm just going to paste. Now what I am doing here is using this one, I am accessing the value. Okay, whatever I am entering here, I'm just accessing that value. Okay, now here I have entered ddd, I have just accessed ddd, and I have stored inside this variable. Okay, now in the same way for mobile, I am just going to create using $post. Okay, whatever value we have passed inside name, that we have to pass. You can see here I have passed mobile. Then for password, confirm password. Then for image, and then finally we want temp image as well, and for standard, okay, that is nothing but group or voter. Let me just change this one. Now here I am just accessing the password. I am storing inside password variable. I am accessing confirm password. I am storing inside this confirm password variable. Now for image, let me just create the variable as image. Now inside this image, we will be having some properties. Okay, like we will be having temporary name for the image. We will be having size for image, name for image, and also we are having type of the image. We will be having multiple attributes inside the image. Okay, so instead of this one, okay, instead of directly accessing that one, I have to access the name as well as the temp name of the image. So here first I'm just going to write the photo here. Okay. Inside registration.php, for type is equal to file, I have given the name as photo. So first I'm just going to access that one, and again I'm just going to write here square bracket, and inside this I just want to access the name of that one. Okay, name of my image. Then in the same way, I'm just going to access the temporary name. Here I'm just going to create the variable temporary name, and here first I'll write photo. Then here I'm just going to access the temporary name. Okay, for better understanding, I have already uploaded complete video on how to upload images inside the database, and in that I have explained you each and everything. Okay, what is this name, what is this temp name, what is the size, everything I have explained you in detail. If you want, you can refer that one. Now here I'm just going to write here temp name. Then below this, finally I'm just going to access the select values. I'll just write here, I'm just going to write here std for accessing select values, and inside this I'm just going to give here std, because inside this select I have given the name as std. I'm just going to write that one. Okay, I'm just accessing that value. I'm storing inside this std variable. Okay, this is how we are going to create separate variables, and we will be storing all the values inside that variables. Okay, now here I'm just going to check the condition. If my password and confirm password matches, only then I have to insert the data, or else I should not insert the data. So for that, here I'm just going to check the condition. If my, okay, this password, whatever password I have created here for variable, I'm just going to copy this one. and here I'm just going to paste. If my password, if it is not equal to confirm password, I'll just copy this and here I'm going to paste. If it is not equal to confirm password, then I just have to write here, I'll just write here echo, and inside the script tag I'm just going to write that one, script. I'll just close the script here, and inside this script I'm just going to create one div container. Let me just write here proper spelling, and inside this script I'm just going to create the alert, and here I'm just going to write passwords did not match. Passwords did not match or do not match. Let me just write here did not match. Passwords did not match. I'll just come down. Here I am having this. Okay, now you can see the colors is been changed because here I have used single quotes and here I am having this single quotes. So it is not able to detect what I am doing here. So as of now I'll just remove that, and here I'm just going to write here password did not match. I'll just close using double quotes. Here I will be getting that alert if the passwords did not match. If the passwords do not match, then I should be redirected to register.php. Again I have to redirect it to that page. So for that, here I'm just going to write window.location, and inside this I'm just going to pass that file path. Here I'll just write here equal to, and here I'm just going to write partials folder. Inside partials folder I am having register.php where I have created the form. I will be redirected to that page. I'll save this, and inside partials folder I have given the name as registration. So let me just write here registration.php. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now for better understanding, let me just show the demo project here. Now here I'm just going to register using SIA. Mobile number I'll just give this one 123, choose file. Now from here let me just select this cartoon image. I'll open and I will be selecting as a voter, and password I'm just going to give here 555. Okay, now you can see passwords are not getting matched. I'll just click on register. I'll be getting passwords do not match. As soon as I click on OK, you can see again I'm redirected to partials folder. Inside that I'm having registration.php. So here I'm just doing that one. If the passwords do not match, then I should be redirected to partials folder. Then inside that I should be redirected to registration.php where I have created all this form. Again I have to enter all the data, and that data I should enter inside the database. I'll just come to register.php now. Okay, else. Okay, here I'm just going to write else. Else means my passwords are getting matched. Okay, here if the passwords are not getting matched, I should be getting this alert, and also my window. Okay, this location should be redirected here. Okay, and I should be redirected here. Else means my passwords are getting matched. Now inside this I have to insert the data now. Before that, here I am having this image. First I have to move the images. Before that, let me just write here, we are having one method. I'm just going to write that one, move uploaded file, and inside this I'm just going to write this temporary name. Okay, whatever name we have accessed for this one, I'm just going to copy this temporary name, and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, my image will be having some temp name. I am just accessing that one. I'm storing inside that one. Now this image I have to move inside the uploads folder. Now here I'm just going to write uploads folder. Inside this uploads folder I just have to paste this image. Okay, I just have to move this image, whatever image name I'm having, I just have to move this image. I'll just close this one. Now I have to create this uploads folder. Okay, now uploads folder I have to create here. Okay, inside the home directory, because you can see I have come outside this one, and here I just have to write here / I have come inside this actions directory, and inside this home directory I am just creating this uploads folder. Okay, now whatever image I am inserting inside the database, that will be moved inside this uploads folder, because here I have used this move uploaded file. If you are not understanding how we have to move images inside the database, as I told you, you can refer that video which I uploaded to move images inside the database. Here we just have to write here comma. Okay, again I'm just going to explain. Else means my passwords are getting matched, and first I have to move the image inside this uploads folder, and which image I have to move, and here I have just passed the temporary name of the image which by default we will be getting. Okay, this we are not going to give. By default we will be getting the temporary name for the image, that only we are moving inside this uploads folder. Okay, this particular image, whatever name we are getting, that we are moving inside this uploads folder, and uploads folder I have created inside the home directory. Now below this I'm just going to write one SQL query. I'll just write SQL query. Now here I'm just going to write insert query. Insert into, using this backticks I'm just going to write the table name. insert into table name. My table name is user data. I'm just going to write that one. Insert into user data, and here I have to write the column names, and inside this whatever values I am passing, that will be my column names, like username, mobile, password, whatever is present inside the database, whatever name it is present, that you have to pass. Okay, exact name you have to pass. So first is my username. I'm just going to write here username, and for this you should not close inside double quotes or single quotes, because these are the column names. Then I am having mobile. Then password. Okay, confirm password we are not storing inside the database, so I am not passing that one. Then we are having photo. Then for standard, then we are having status. Okay, status and votes, I am just going to tell what I am going to do, and here I am having votes. Then we should write this values, and inside this whatever value we have accessed from here, okay, whatever I entered here, whatever value I have accessed from here, that values I have stored inside this variables. Okay, using this I have accessed that values, and I am storing inside this variables. So inside this values I have to pass this values. Okay, whatever value is stored inside this variables, I have to access that one. So I'm just going to copy that. Now these are the values, so we have to close inside double quotes or single quotes. Username. Then we are having this mobile. I'll copy this one, and here I'm going to paste. Then we are having password. I'll copy this password, and here I'm going to paste. Then we are having this image. I'm just going to copy this, and here I'm going to paste. Then finally we are having standard. Let me just come here. I'll copy this std, and here I'm going to paste that one. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, totally 5 values I have passed, but column names you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, totally 7 columns are present, but values I have passed only 5. Okay, because I have accessed only 5 values from here, and I am just passing that one. Now for this status and votes, initially I just want to give it as 0 here. Let me just write here 0 for status and 0 for votes, because whenever user is voting, only then I have to update this one, and how many number of votes that particular group is getting, only then I have to update this one. So initially I'm just passing here 0, 0 for both of them. Okay, this is the insert query. I have just written insert into table name. Inside this one I am just passing the column names, whatever is present inside the database. Now here I am having username, mobile, password, photo, standard, status, votes. Okay, these are the column names present inside the database tables. Then we have to write this values, and inside this we should pass all the values. Okay, if their data type is varchar or text, then you have to wrap inside this double quotes. Okay, if those are numbers, then you don't have to wrap inside double quotes or single quotes. Now we have written this query. Now we have to execute this one. So here I'm just going to create one variable result, and inside this I'm just going to write here MySQLi query. MySQLi query, and in this is going to take 2 parameters. First is our connection variable. Let me just write here connection variable, and second is our query variable SQL. Okay, this connection variable I am writing because inside connect.php I have created the variable connection, and I have connected to the database. Now inside register.php I have already included that connect.php, so I can use that variable here. Okay, so 2 parameters I have to pass. Okay, you can write like this, or directly you can write the entire query using double quotes here. Both will work. Now here I am just going to write, if my result, okay, if my query is executed successfully, then inside this echo, let me just come up, I'll just copy this entire echo statement, and here I'm just going to paste. If my query is executed successfully, then here I'm just going to write registration successful. Registration successful. Once my registration is successful, I should be redirected to home page. That is nothing but index.php, where my login form is created. I'll save this. I'll just remove one T from here, and also I'm just going to remove one T from here. I'll save this. Now let's see whether the data is getting inserted or not. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now first let me just write here Khanam. Mobile number, same thing I'm going to give 123. 123. Choose file. Let me select this SQL. Voter I'm just going to give register. Okay, you can see I'm having registration successful. which means that my data is successfully inserted inside the database. As soon as I click on OK, I will be redirected to home page, and here I am having this login section. I'll just come here. I'll refresh my database. Let me just open this table. Now you can see here ID, username, mobile number, password, photo is not inserted. We are going to check that one. Okay, standard is voter, status, everything is been inserted inside the database. Now we will be checking for the photo now, why it is not getting inserted. Okay, here if you notice here, for images we have already given the type as file, and whenever we are using images we should use here files. Okay, we should not use here post, we should use here files. Okay, I'm sorry for that. I'll just copy this one and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, for both this we are going to use files. If we use files, only then we will be able to access the images, and that particular image will be stored inside this one, and only then we will be able to move these images to this particular folder. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Now I'm just going to delete the entire data from here. I'll just come to operations, and from here I'm just going to truncate everything, truncate the entire table. I'll come to structure. Now you can see here when I click on browse, I will not be having any data inside the database. Okay, now again we are going to insert. Okay, now I don't have anything for login code. I just have written for registration. So I'll just click on registration. Again I'll write Khanam, mobile number 123 123. I'll just select one image. Let me select the image which is having proper name. I'll just select this download, open. I'll just select voter. I'll just click on register. Registration successful. Okay. Okay, now you can see I'm redirected to voting. Okay, that is nothing but home page. I'll come to database. I'll refresh this one. Now inside database you can see image is also been uploaded. Okay, all the data whatever I registered, all the data is been stored inside the database. Okay, now Khanam is voter and her mobile number, and this is the password. Okay, as I told you, all the data is in text format. This is not encrypted, but when you are doing real world projects, you are not going to insert the data in this way. You will encrypt the entire data, only then you will insert the data inside the database. Okay, this is how we are going to insert the data. Now let me just insert for one group. I'll come here. I'll register. Let me write here flowers. Flowers, mobile number 123, confirm password 123, choose file. Okay, here I am having this rows. I'll just select this one. Inside this select, I'm just going to select group now. Register, registration successful. Okay. Okay, I'm redirected to home page. I'll come to database. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see now group is been stored. Okay, here I am having one user and one group. Okay, that is nothing but flowers group, and user is Khanam. I'll just come to register here. Mobile number, password, you can see now I'm just going to give separate password here. I'll just select one image. I'll just give here group. I'll just give here voter. I'll click on register. You can see passwords do not match. As soon as I click on OK, again I will be redirected to registration.php. Okay, this is how we are going to create the logic in such a way that if it is not getting matched, in which page I have to redirect. If it is getting matched, in which page I have to redirect, and how to store the data inside the database. Okay, now inside this register.php, before moving to register.php, first we have done here inside registration.php, inside form I have given the action. Whenever I click on submit button, I should be redirected to this particular path. Okay, whatever I have given here. So inside register.php, I have written all the code. Then I have given the method is equal to post and enc type is equal to multi-part form data, because we are inserting the image inside the database. Now inside register.php, first I have included connect.php. I have accessed all the values, all the field values from the input field. I have stored inside the separate variables. Now here I am just checking the condition. If my passwords and confirm passwords are not getting matched, then I should write this one, password do not match alert, and then I should be redirected to this particular folder. If my passwords and confirm password is getting matched, then I should move the image, okay, using this move uploaded file, whatever image, okay, using inside this uploads folder, I have to move the image. Then using this insert query, insert into table name, whatever column names I'm having inside the database, I'm just passing the values, and inside this values, whatever values I'm accessing, whatever values I'm accessing from the input fields, I have stored inside these variables. So I'm just accessing that particular variables here. Then I have to execute this query. I'm just executing this query, and this query will take two parameters, connection variable and this query variable. If my result is executed successfully, okay, that is nothing but my query is executed successfully, then I have to write this one. Else also you can write, else you can just throw the error. Else using this die, I'll just come here, I'll just copy this one. Else if you're having some error in while registering, you can just write this one. I'll come, I'll refresh this one. Let me just insert Sanya, mobile number 123 file. For Sanya, let me just give this one. I'll just select here voter, register, registration successful. Again, I'll just come to database. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here that data is been stored and Sanya is nothing but Sanya is the voter. Okay, this is how we are going to check for the conditions, and we will be storing the data inside the database. Now whatever data is present inside the database, now using that data we are going to write the logic for the login page. Okay, now in this we are going to see using that data, whatever I have stored inside the database. Okay, using this data, how to log in here, and whatever credentials I am having inside the database, using that I have to log in here. Once I log in, that particular user dashboard should be open. Okay, now we are going to write the code for this login. Now here inside index.php, we have already created the form. Okay, we have already created this login form, and inside this form, here inside this action, I am just going to write here actions folder, and inside actions folder, I am just going to write here login.php. Whenever I click on submit button, I should be redirected to this particular path. And here I'm just going to write the method. I'll just write here post. Okay, using post method, I'm just going to access all the data. I'll just do Control B. Now inside actions folder, I'm just going to create login.php. Inside index.php, we are having this login button. And for this button, we have given the type as submit. Whenever I click on this login, I should be redirected to this particular path. And inside this part, we are going to write the code for that one. Okay, now here I'll just come to login.php. Now first I'm just going to write here PHP syntax. And inside this, first I have to include connect.php. Only then I will be able to connect to the database. So here I'm just going to write include. And inside this, I'm just going to write here connect.php. Okay, inside that we have already written the code to connect to the database, and inside register.php also we have included this one, okay, connect.php. Now inside login we are having 4 fields: username, mobile, password and this standard. Okay, whatever group or voter I am having 4 fields, so I have to access whatever values I am having here. I have to access that particular fields, only then I will be able to log into that one. I'll just come here, I'm just going to create the variable username, and using this post method I'm just going to access that one, and whatever value I have given inside the name attribute I'm just passing that one. Okay, the same thing I'm just passing here. Let me just show you. Inside index.php, whatever value I have given for this name attribute I'm just passing that one, and whatever value I'm getting here I'm just storing inside this variable. Okay, this value is nothing but whatever I enter here. Okay, whatever I enter here, this value I'm accessing, I'm storing inside this variable. Okay, then I am having mobile. Let me just write here mobile variable, and inside this, using post method, I'm just going to access mobile. Then I am having password, and then finally I am having that standard. Here I'll be writing password, and here also I'm just going to write password. Here I'll just create variable std, and inside this I'm just going to pass std, which is holding our select options. Okay, we are having group and voter. Using that I can just access that value. Let it be group or voter, any one I can just access, and that data will be matched from the database. Now once I get all this value, now I am going to write SQL query. I'll just write here SQL, and inside this I'm just going to write here select star from. Okay, I want to select all the data from my table name. Okay, my table name is this one, user data. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Select star from user data, and here I'm just going to pass one condition where my username, okay, this whatever username I am writing here, that should be matching with the column name. Okay, whatever I have given here username, that should be exactly with this one, is equal to this particular username. Okay, whatever I have entered, and this value will be stored inside this variable. So I'm just going to paste that one here. I'll just write here, then I'm just going to write here and then I'll just want to access the password. Okay, next I'm having mobile, so let me just access mobile, and inside this I'm just going to write this mobile variable. I'll copy this one and here I'm going to paste. Then again I just want to access the password. Okay, I just want to check for the password, so here I'll be writing password. Then inside the single quotes, this variable I'm just going to pass. Then finally I'm having this standard, so again I'm just writing here and inside this I'm just going to write here standard. I'll just copy this variable and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, this is how we are going to write the query. I'm just going to check the condition. Whatever I have entered here, whatever values I'm going to enter here, that should be matching with this particular fields. Okay, whatever values I'm having inside the database, that should be matching. Okay, all the username, mobile, password and this standard. If all the 4 values are getting matched, only then I am going to execute the query. Okay, using this and means we are having this and operator, which means that all the values should be matched. Okay, if any one is failed, then it is not going to select any data. Okay, so I have just written this query, select star from user data, that is my table name, where I have given this condition. Okay, this is the column name, whatever I am having inside the database, this is the column name, this is the column name, and this is also the column name, and these are the values I am getting from here. Okay, from input fields, whatever value I am getting here, I am just checking that one. Now once I get this one, I have to execute this query. So here I'm just going to create one variable result. Now inside this I'm just going to write MySQL query, and this is going to take 2 parameters. First is our connection variable. Okay, we are able to use connection variable because we have already included this connect.php file. Okay, next is our query variable. I'm just going to copy and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, this is nothing but it is just execute our query. Okay, now here below this I'm just going to check the condition. Okay, we are having one method, MySQL num rows. Okay, this method is going to check the number of rows present inside the database. Okay, now entire data I have executed here and I am storing inside this variable. So here I am just going to copy and here I'll just check the condition if my number of rows, if it is greater than 0. Okay, which means that after writing this query, I am executing this data here. Okay, once all the data is getting matched and once I get this field, okay, which means that my number of rows will be greater than 0. If it is less than 0, this data is not present inside the database. If it is greater than 0, only then this data is present inside the database. Else, inside this else I'm just going to write echo and here I'm just going to print data is not present. So here I'll just write here echo and inside this I'm just going to write the script tag. I'll just close the script tag here. Okay, which means that the data is not present. So here inside this alert, I'm just going to write invalid credentials. Invalid credentials. Okay, only so much I'm just going to write. I'll just close this one. Okay, this is how we are going to write, and also I'm just going to give the location. Okay, window.location, and I should be redirected to the same login page. That is nothing but my home page. I'll just write that one here. And also I'm just going to write here double quotes because I have already used single quotes, so I'm getting that error. Okay, now here let me just explain you again. If my number of rows is greater than 0, which means that this particular data, whatever I have inserted in the input fields, that is present inside the database. So once it is present, once it is greater than 0, that means the data is there and only then I will be able to log in. Okay, if this is less than 0, which means that I will come to else part. Okay, invalid credential, it is going to display me invalid credentials because using this query, it has not found any data. So I will be getting invalid credentials and I will not be able to log in. I will be redirected to index.php file, that is nothing but home page. Okay, this I am selecting only the users. Okay, whatever user I am entering, only user I am selecting, and here I am just checking the condition. And inside the database, I have stored the data of group as well. So here inside this if, once I am getting the user details, then I should display the group details as well. So for that I am just going to write the query. I'll just write here SQL. Okay, here I am just going to write the query select. I want to select username. I want to select photo. I want to select votes. Okay, how many votes that particular group has got, and also I just want to select the ID, okay, of that particular table from my table name. I'll just copy this one. I'll copy this and here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, I'm just selecting all these values and also here I'm just going to give the condition where my standard is equal to group. Okay, only then I have to fetch this group data, or else I should not fetch voter data. I should select group data. So here I am just giving the condition where my standard is equal to group. Okay, inside this database, here I am having this standard. Wherever I am having this group, only that particular username, that particular photo, mobile number, password I am just accessing. Okay, whatever I have given here, mobile number, photo, votes and ID from that particular table, and wherever my standard is equal to group, only that data I am accessing, and using this query I am just going to execute that one. Then below this I have to execute this query. So here I will be writing one variable result group, and inside this I am just going to write that one MySQLi query. MySQLi query, it will take two parameters, connection variable and our query variable, SQL. Okay, both I have passed. First I am just accessing all the users. Okay, using whatever credentials I have done, I am just accessing that one. I am checking the condition, and if my credentials are matching and if my row is greater than 0, I am selecting username, photo, votes and ID from the table where my standard is equal to group. Only wherever I am having standard is equal to group, only that particular group I am accessing. Here I am just executing the query. Once I execute this one, again I have to check the condition, how I have checked for this one. Now here I am just going to write if MySQLi num, let me just copy this one, and here I am going to paste if MySQLi num rows, and inside this, instead of this one I have to pass this one. Okay, if I am having any groups present inside the database, if my result group, if it is greater than 0, which means that I am having some group inside the database. Now here I am just going to come. Once I get groups, okay, maybe I am having 2 groups or 3 groups or 4 groups, I should fetch all the groups. So for that, first I am just going to create one variable. Let me just write here groups, and inside this I am just going to write here MySQLi fetch all. Okay, using this I am just going to fetch all the groups present inside the database. Suppose I am having 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups. Okay, I am just going to fetch all the groups inside the database, and using that I have to display all the groups. So I am just going to write here MySQLi fetch all, and this is going to fetch all the groups, and my groups are stored here. Okay, my query is executed and my groups will be stored here. I'll just come here. Then next I am just going to write one parameter, that is nothing but MySQLi assoc. Okay, whatever data I am having, I am just going to combine that one, and this array is going to generate me an object. Okay, how many groups I am having, I am just going to join that one. Okay, so we have to write this MySQLi assoc. Okay, once the user is able to successfully log in, all the credentials, if it is getting matched, the user will be redirected to dashboard.php, and inside dashboard.php, user profile will be displayed and group profiles will be displayed. Okay, now to access that, whatever values I am having inside that one, okay, whichever user has login and what particular groups I am having inside the database, now that values I have to access inside dashboard.php. So for that we are just going to use sessions now. Here I am just going to write here session. And inside this I am just going to create session variable. Let me just write here groups. Okay, this is my session variable groups, and inside this I am just going to pass this variable. I'll just copy this one, and here I am just going to paste. What I have done is I have fetched all the groups from the database. Okay, using this result group I have fetched all the data from the database wherever I am having standard is equal to group. Once I am done with that, I am just creating this session groups, and inside that whatever value I got from here I am storing inside this variable. Inside this session variable I am just passing that variable here, because whenever I use this session variable inside another file, I can use this values whatever I am having inside that one without including that particular file. Okay, this is how sessions are very useful. Whenever you are getting login through any social media app, your details will be stored. Once you log out, only then your session will be destroyed. Until then you will be login to that particular site. Okay, so we are using this sessions here. I have just created session variable groups, and inside that I am just storing all the values whatever I got from here. Okay, now below this, here I have fetched all the data of the groups. I have to fetch all the data of users now. Here I'll just create one variable data, and inside this I'm just going to write MySQLi. Okay, I have to fetch only single users. So here I'm just going to write MySQLi fetch array. Using this method I can just access the users, single users. Based on my requirement I can access particular user. Okay, all the users of whatever query I have written here, I have executed here, I have stored inside this variable. I'm just going to copy that, and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, using this I'm just going to fetch that particular record, whatever I have inserted here. Okay, that particular user record I'm just accessing. Then below this I'm just going to create some more session variables so that I can access that inside dashboard.php. Okay, now here I'm just going to write here session. And inside this, first I'm just creating session variable ID. Okay, now inside this variable, this particular user data will be stored. So here I'm just going to write data, and from here I just want to access that ID. Okay, whatever ID that user is having, I'm just accessing that one. I'm storing inside this session variable ID. Then below this, I'm just going to create another variable that is nothing but status, because whenever user is voting for that particular group, the status should be updated. So here I'm just creating session variable status, because inside dashboard.php I have to display that one. If the status is 0, the user has not voted. If the status is 1, the user has voted. So here I have to create session for status as well. And inside this I just have to access the status. Now this whatever I am giving here, those are the column names present inside my database table name. So you can see this is the status. Then finally I just have to access this entire data. I'll just copy this one. I'll just paste that one here. Here directly I'm just going to pass this data. Okay, all the data will be stored inside this session variable called data. Okay, now once we are done with all these things, now once all the users, all the credentials are getting matched, I should be redirected to dashboard.php. Okay, now here I'm just going to write this echo. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm going to paste, and inside this, let me just remove this, and instead of this I'm just going to write this location, and here I'm just going to pass this partials folder. Inside partials folder I'm just going to create dashboard.php. Dashboard.php, I'll just do Control B. Now inside this partials folder I'm just going to create that one, dashboard.php. I'll come here, I'll save this. Now inside dashboard.php, let me just write one h1. I'll just write here welcome. Okay, just to check whether my user is getting redirected to dashboard.php or not. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Now I'm going to log in using Khanam. I'll just copy this, and here I'm going to paste mobile number, password is 123, and selector voter, login. Okay, you can see I'm redirected to dashboard.php, and here I'm having welcome. Okay, which means that the user is able to successfully log in. All the credentials are getting matched. Now suppose if I just give another name here, Khanam12. Okay, this user is not present. Let me just give the same mobile number, password, voter, login. You can see I'm getting this invalid credentials because Khanam12 is not present inside the database. Okay, this is how we are going to log in, and we will be redirected to dashboard.php. Now let me just explain you again whatever I have done here. Now I have just created login.php inside actions folder, and inside index.php, here I am having this form, and inside this form, inside this action attribute, I have just given the path. Okay, wherever I am having this login.php, I have just given that file path. And also I have given here method is equal to post, and here inside this form I am not going to use enc type because you can see I am not including any images, only text data I am just going to check. So for that I am not going to use enc type. Now inside login.php, first I have to include connect.php file, then I have to access all these values. Okay, whatever values I just want to check, I am just accessing all these values. I am storing inside this separate variables. Then I'm just writing this query, select star from my table name by where my username, okay, whatever value I'm having inside this column, okay, inside this column whatever values I'm having here, which is equal to this particular value, whatever I have entered inside the input fields, using this one I have accessed that one, I have stored inside this variable. Okay, if it is equal, and then I'm checking for the mobile, and then for password, and then for standard. If all these four values are getting matched, only then user should be able to log in. And once I have done writing this query, I'm just going to execute this one. Using MySQL query, I'm just going to write this one. Okay, and this is going to take two parameters, connection variable and SQL variable. Then below that I'm just going to check if number of rows, if it is greater than 0, which means that that particular data and that particular user is present inside the database. Once the user is present inside the database, I'm just writing another query to select the group. Okay, wherever I am having standard is equal to group, I am just fetching username, photo, votes and ID of that particular row. Then after writing the query, I am just going to execute this one. Then below that I am just checking the condition. If my number of rows is greater than 0, then how many groups I am having. Okay, suppose 2, 3, 4. All the groups I have to fetch using this MySQL fetch all. And I am just writing here MySQL assoc because I am just going to join all the groups. Then using this session variable, okay, whatever value I am having here, I'm just going to assign that one to session variables. Okay, session variables are very useful. Okay, once we use this session variable, we have to start the session variable here. I'm just going to write here session. I'll just write here session start. We have to start the session here. Then below that, I'm just fetching all the data of the user. Inside result, I have already executed this one, okay, MySQL query, and I'm just creating session variable ID, status and data, and inside that I'm accessing all these values. I'm storing inside this session variables. Once the user is able to successfully log in, I should be redirected to dashboard.php. Dashboard.php we are going to see later. Then if the user, okay, if the credentials are not getting matched, if my number of rows, if it is less than 0, then I should be getting invalid credentials, which means that that particular user is not present inside the database. Let me just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now let me log in using group. I'll just write here flowers, copy, paste, mobile number, password 123, group, login. You can see here I am having welcome and I am redirected to dashboard.php. Okay, now next we are just going to style this one. So for that, let me just log in here. Okay, this is the demo project. Login. Okay, now this is the dashboard page we have to design. Here we have to get the users and whatever groups we are having, we should be getting here. Okay, on left side we should be getting all the group details, and here we should be getting user details, and also the status we have to get whether the user is voted or not. And also we will be working on back button. Whenever I click on back, I should be redirected to home page. Whenever I click on logout, I should be destroying the session variables. Now when I click on back, you can see I'm redirected to login page. Okay, this is how we are going to work now. We are going to work on all the dashboard, back button and logout page. We have seen how to log in using the credentials, whatever we have stored inside the database. Okay, and also we have written entire logic of login.php, and also we have seen whenever user is able to successfully log in, then I should be redirected to dashboard.php, and inside that this message will be displayed. Okay, now in this we are going to see how to design this dashboard.php and how to display the user data and also how to display the group data. Inside dashboard.php, I have written this basic boilerplate. Let me just change the title. I'll just write here voting system dashboard. I'll save this. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now from here, I'm just going to copy this one. I'll just paste the value here. Okay, I'm just going to show you the output here. 1, 2, 3. Here I'll just select voter. I'll just click on login. You can see I'm redirected to partials folder. Inside that I'm having dashboard.php, and whatever code I have written, that is been mentioned here. Okay, that is welcome. I'll just come back. Now if I just give here 1, 2, I'll just click on login. Okay, this user is not present inside the database. So here I'll be getting invalid credentials. As soon as I click on OK, again I will be redirected to home page. Okay, this is how we are going to write the code. Now we are going to style this dashboard page. Okay, let me just come here. I'll just copy using, okay, let me just log in using Sanya. Here I'm just going to write Sanya. I'll just write the mobile number, password 123, and Sanya is nothing but voter. I'll just click on login. Okay, now we are going to style this dashboard.php file. Okay, now first let me just come to index.php, and from here I'm just going to copy this bootstrap CSS link, and inside dashboard.php below this title I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, now inside this body I'm just going to write the class, and for this I'm just going to write here bg dark. I'll save this. As soon as I refresh this one, you can see the body is black and this welcome is not visible because, okay, this is in black color. Okay, by default each and every text will be in black color. So as of now I'm just going to write here text light. Okay, which means that in entire body this will be applied. Okay, now you can see this welcome text is visible. Below this body, let me just remove this h1. Here I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'm just going to give the class name as container, and also I'm just going to give some margin for this, margin of 5. From top and bottom I'm just giving some margin, so here I have just given margin y of 5. Let me just correct the spelling here. I'll just write here container. Inside this container, first I'm just going to create 2 buttons here. Let me just show you the demo, and here let me just log in using one user, 1, 2, 3, voter, login. Inside this, here I am having this back button and logout button. Okay, let me just change the background color. Instead of dark, here I am just going to give here secondary. Okay, whatever I have given inside my demo project, I am just going to give that one. Okay, now this secondary color is been applied. Now here I am having this back button and logout button. So for that, here inside this, first I am just going to write here anchor tag. and inside this anchor tag, let me just write here home. Whenever I click on this button, I should be redirected to home page, and here I'll just write here back. I'll just close button here. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now whenever I click on this back button, you can see I'm redirected to login.php. Let me just log in again. I'll just write the mobile number. Login. Okay, now here I'm having this back button. Now for this I'm just going to give some bootstrap classes. Now inside this button, okay, inside button I have to give the class. For this let me just write here btn dark, and also I'm just going to write here text light. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the color is been changed, and for this I'm just going to give some padding, okay, so that my button will be larger. Padding x of 3, which means that left and right I'm just giving some spacing, okay, that is nothing but from inside. Okay, now we are done with this back button. In the same way I'm just going to create logout button. I'll just copy this entire thing, and here I'm just going to write that one. Now instead of this I'll just write here logout. Next I'm just going, okay, instead of this one I have to write here logout.php. okay, this file we are going to create later. Let me just write here logout.php. I'll just do Control B. Now inside this partials folder itself I'm just going to create logout.php. I'll just come to dashboard.php. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now here I'm having logout button. Once I click on this, you can see I'm redirected to logout.php. okay, this is how we are going to work. But inside logout.php, once I click on logout button, I should destroy the session, so that whatever variables are stored, whatever ID is stored using that user, I have to destroy that one. Okay, basically I'm just going to destroy the session. So here I have just created this logout button. I'm having all these things. Then below these buttons I'm having H1, and inside this H1 let me just write here voting system. Voting system. I'll save this. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I'm having this voting system, and the text color is white because inside this body I have already given this text color. And also I'm just going to give some margin for this. I'll just write here class, and inside this I'm just going to give some margin top and bottom of 3. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having some margin for this one. Okay, top and bottom I got some margin. Now below this I'm just going to create one div, and inside this div I'm just going to create two sections. Okay, first for this groups and second for this profile. So here below this H1 I'm just going to create one div, and for this div I'm just going to give the class as row, and here also I'm just going to give some margin. And inside this row I'm just going to create two div sections. First will be of column 7 and second will be of column 5. Okay, whatever columns we are creating, that should be sum up to 12. So I'm just going to create two columns here. First I'm just going to create here div call. Inside medium screen I just want to display 7. Then again in the same way I'm just going to create here 5. Okay, now this first will be for groups. Let me just write here groups, and this second div container will be for the user profile. Okay, now first let us work inside this group, then finally we are going to work inside the profile. Now here inside this div I'm just going to create another div, and for this I'm just going to give the class as row. Now for this row I'm just going to create two more divs inside this one. Okay, first for this image and the button, and then second for this content. So whenever we are writing row, inside that we should be writing column, and that column should always sum up to 12. Okay, now this outside I am having this row, and this is the first div container of that one, which is having 7. Then this is the second div, which is having 5. Okay, totally it is summing up to 12. Now inside this 7 I have created this another row. Now inside this row I have to create column, which should be summing up to 12. So here I am just going to create one div. I'll just give call medium. I'll just give here 4, and second I am just going to give here 8. Okay, totally it should sum up to 12. Now inside this column medium, first column I just have to display the image, so I'm just going to write here image. As of now I am not having any demo images, so here I'm just going to write here image. Okay, this should be displayed, and dynamically whatever data, whatever image I have stored inside the database, that image we are going to display here. Then inside this one I have to display the name. Let me just come here. Here I'll be writing strong tag, and inside this strong tag let me just write here strong, and here I'm just going to close the strong. Inside this strong tag, first I'm just going to write this group name. Group name. I'll save this. Let me just show you the output here. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having the image, then here I'm having group name. Then for this I'm just going to give the class. I'll just write here text dark, and also I'm just going to write here h5, which means that whatever stylings we are having inside h5 heading, that will be applied to this group name. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the text color is been changed to black color, and also the h5 heading styling is been applied. Now below that I just have to display the words. So again I'm just going to copy this. I'll just remove this one, and here I'll just write words. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now you can see words are coming in the same line, but I want in the next line. Let me just show you the demo. You can see here I'm having group name, then below this I'm having this words. So for that, here I'm just going to add some break, and also here I'm just going to add one break. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, let me just refresh my project. Now you can see here I'm having group name, and here I'm having this words. This one, okay, group name, words. Below this I'm having this border. So let us just create that one. Okay, now here I am having this row. Inside this I am having this two div containers. Inside this first I am having the image. Inside this second I am having this group name and words. Okay, this is the div container, and this is the div container, and this is the div container of the row. And below this I am just going to add one HR. Okay, horizontal rule. I'll come here. Okay, you can see here I am having this horizontal rule for that one. Again I'll refresh this. You can see here I am having this horizontal rule. Again, whenever it is going to execute, each and every time I'll be getting this horizontal rule. Now let's work on the user profile. Now here inside this, here I am having this user profile. Then below this first I just need the image. I'm just going to write here image. Okay, let me just write here image. Okay, it's not working. I'll just come on top, and from here I'm just going to copy this image tag. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste. And instead of this, let me just write here user image. Let me just change the spelling here. Okay, let me just write here group image. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here for user image I'm having here, and for group image I'm having here. Okay, these images are not displayed because I have not given any path for the image. But later on we are just going to access the image from the database, and we are going to display that image. I'll just come on top. I'll just copy this strong tag, and here I'm just going to paste that one. And from here I'll just remove this, and instead of this let me just write here name. Then below this I'm just going to copy this one, and here I'll just change it to mobile. Then next I'm just going to change it to status here. Okay, because I just want to print the status, so I'll just write here status. Okay, whether the user is voted or not, so that status should be printed here. So I'm just writing that one. Now if I refresh this, I'll be having this output name, mobile and status. I'm just going to add one more BR for each of them so that I'll be having more spacing. I'll just refresh this one. Okay, now you can see here I'm having some more spacing. Okay, this is how we are going to display the user data and group data. Okay, all the groups will be coming on the left side, and user profile will be displayed on right side. Okay, we are going to see how to display the data from the database, and also we are going to display the status, whether the user is voted or not. Okay, whenever user gets login, only then he should be redirected to dashboard.php. Okay, now in this we are going to see how to display user data, how to display the image using sessions, how to display name, mobile and status of the user using session variables. Okay, now we are going to see that one. Now inside this dashboard.php, inside column MD5, we are having all this user data. Okay, this name, mobile and status. Now whatever data I am having inside the database, that data should be displayed here. Okay, let me just come back. I'll just come back. I'll refresh this one. Now here I'm just going to log in using Khanam, mobile number, password 123, and I'm just going to give voter. I'll just log in. Now all the data related to Khanam should be displayed here. So for that, first I'm just going to come on top, and here first I'll be writing this PHP syntax. First I just have to start the session here. I'm just going to write here session, and inside this I'm just going to write here start. Okay, session start. Only then I will be able to access the session variables and I can use that one. Okay, I have already created the session variable called this one. I'm just going to copy this, and here I'm just going to access that one. Now instead of this, now this entire session variable will be having all the data. So here I'm just going to write like this. Okay, now this data will be having the entire session, whatever I got from here, whatever details I got from login.php, that entire details will be stored in this one, and that I have assigned to the session variable. Now here inside this dashboard.php, I have just started the session. I have accessed my entire session data and I have stored inside this variable. Now inside this data, I will be having all the data. Now I have to display the user data. I'm just going to come here. Now here I will be writing this PHP syntax. I'll just close this one. Now inside this I'm just going to write here echo data. First I just have to access the username. Okay, this is the column name, whatever is present inside the table, that I'm just writing here. I'll just save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, here I'm having this spelling error. Let me just come here. I'll just write here session. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the name of the user is being displayed here. Now in the same way, I'm just going to come here. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste, and also here I'm just going to paste. Now instead of username, I'm just going to write the mobile column name, and here I'm just going to write the status. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I'm having this mobile and here I'm having the status. Now instead of this, and here also I'm just going to change. Now here first I'm just going to come outside this partials folder. I'm just going to come inside this uploads folder. Now here I'll be writing PHP code. Inside this I'm just going to write here echo, then data, and inside this data I'm just going to write the column name. Okay, whatever is present inside the database, I'm just going to write that one. I'll refresh this. Now you can see the image is also appearing here. Whatever image I have given inside the database, that image is been displayed for me. Now here what I'm going to do is I'll just do Control B. I'll just create one style sheet, style.css. Now inside this I'm just going to write the image. Now for this image I'm just going to give the width. Width I'll give 100 pixel, and height also I'm just going to give 100 pixel. And also I'm just going to give object fit to be contain. I'll save this. Okay, now it is not going to work because I have not linked that file. Now inside this dashboard.php, I'll just come here. I'll just come on top. Now below this I'm just going to link CSS file. I'll just write here link :CSS, and inside this here I'm having this style.css. Now my style is present. Let me just come outside. Then I'm just going to write here style.css. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I'm having this image which is having 100 pixel of height and 100 pixel of width. Okay, this is how we are going to display the user data. Now in place of this status, I should be getting whether the user is voted or not. Okay, so for that here I'm just going to come on top. Now here I'm just going to write this condition: if my session of status, let me just write here status, if it is equal to 1, then here I'm going to create the variable called status, and inside this I'm just going to write here bold tag. For this I'm just going to give the class I'll just write here text success, and inside this I'm just going to give here voted. Okay, if the status is 1, then I should be displaying the user is voted, and here let me just change it to double quotes. I'll just copy this entire line. I'll just close this one. I'll just copy this entire line. Here I'm just going to write here else. Now below this I'm just going to paste that one. Here I'll just write here danger, and here I'm just going to write here not voted. I'll save this. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here again I'm not having any effect. Here I have checked the condition: if my session of status, if it is equal to 1, then I should be getting voted, or else I should be getting not voted in red color. If it is voted, I should be getting in green color. Now here I am just printing the status whatever I am having inside the database. Now instead of that, I just have to print the variable whatever I have created. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I am getting not voted as well as this has been printed. Let me just check for that. Okay, now here I just have to write here bold tag. Let me just write that one. And also here I'm just going to write the bold tag. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I am having not voted, and that is in red color. Now once the status has been updated to 1, I will be getting here voted, and that will be in green color. Okay, this is how we are going to display the user data. Next we are going to see how to display the groups data, and also how to display multiple groups. We are going to see that one, as well as we are going to work on this logout button and also this back button. Okay, now here I am having this one. Okay, this entire data is being displayed. Whatever data I am having inside the database, using sessions I have accessed that one, and I have displayed here. Here I am having the image, and also we have style for this image, and also we have seen this status. Okay, if the status is 0, then I should be getting this not voted in red color, and if status is 1, then I should be getting in green color. Okay, now we are done with displaying the user data. Now we are going to work on this group data. Whatever groups I am having inside the database, that particular group should be displayed here. Okay, so for that, here I am having this one. Now inside this row, okay, inside this row I am having this column 7, and inside this column I have created another row. Inside that I am having the image and this data. Okay, whatever group name I am having and how many votes that group got, I am having this data. Now here I have to access that variables, and using that I have to display the group data. Inside login.php, I have already created the session for groups. You can see here I have already created that one. So I am just going to copy this, and here inside dashboard.php, below this column, I am just going to check the condition. If is set, okay, if it's set, I am just going to paste this session. I'll just open this curly braces now. Now before pasting this one, let me just start here PHP. I'll just write here PHP. I'll just close this PHP. I'll just copy this one, and here inside this I'm just going to paste that one, and here I'm just checking if this session variable is set, then I'm just going to access this session. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm going to paste, and this entire session I'm just going to store inside one variable called groups. I'll just write here groups. Okay, whatever data I'm having inside this session, I'm storing inside this variable called groups, and from there you can see I have fetched all the data whatever I'm having inside the database. I'm fetching all the group data. I'm creating one session called groups, and inside that I'm assigning this value. Okay, whatever data I'm getting from here, I'm just assigning that value here. Now this session is holding entire data, so here I'm just checking that if this session is set, then whatever value I'm having here, I'm just assigning in this variable. Okay, now maybe I'm having multiple groups. Suppose I'm having 2 to 4 groups. So for that, each time I have to run this one. So here I'm just going to write the loop. I'll just create one variable I is equal to 0, and this loop should be running. Let me just write here I is less than, using this count method, how many groups are there. Let me just copy this one, and here I'm going to paste. Okay, it should run each and every time. Each and every time I'm just going to increase the value of I here, I plus plus. Okay, initially my value of I will be 0, then it is going to check the condition, how many groups are present. So suppose I'm having 3 groups, so 0 is less than 3, yes it is. So it is going to come inside this for loop, and it is going to execute. Okay, whatever I'm having here, that will be executed. Now this entire row I'm just going to copy. Okay, till here I'm just going to copy from here. I'll cut from here, and inside this I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, whatever I wrote there, I'm just going to copy from here, and here I have just pasted that one. Now here I'm having this PHP. Now below this one, below this I'm just going to close this PHP. Let me just close this one. Now below that I'm having this entire row container. Okay, now inside this, how many groups I'm having, that many times it is going to execute this one. Okay, this entire thing will be printed again and again. Now once I am done with this, I have set this one. I'm just checking the condition. If my group is set, then I'm accessing all this session, I'm storing inside this variable. Then again I'm just running this loop. Okay, now below this, wherever I'm having this image, now here I just have to access the image whichever is present inside the database. So my images are present inside uploads folder, and here I'm just going to write PHP code. Let me just remove this, and here I'm just going to close this one. Now inside this I'm just going to echo this, and all the data is stored inside this group variable. Okay, I'm just going to copy this groups, and here I'm just going to paste that one, and inside this first index I'm just going to pass the value of I, because each and every time it is going to run, and the first value, okay, that is nothing but 0. 0th image will be printed, then again the value of I will be increased, then first image will be printed. So this is how we are going to access, and here I'm just going to write the column name photo. I just want to access the photo, so I'm writing that one here. Now below this I'm just going to come here. I'll just copy this entire PHP code, and here I'm just going to paste that one, and also here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, now instead of photo, I just want to access the username, that is whatever group name is present inside the database, I just want to access that one. And here I just want to write the votes. Okay, how many votes this particular group is getting. So I'm just going to access that particular votes, and that number of votes I have to display. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I'm getting syntax error, unexpected end of file on line 74. Okay, here I think here I have not closed that one. So let me just open here PHP syntax. Okay, because here I am having this closing PHP and here I should be having opening PHP, and here you can see I have opened and closed, and here also I have opened and closed, and let me just check here. Okay, here also I have opened and closed. Okay, so we should be having proper opening and closing PHP tags. I'll just save this one. I'll refresh this. Okay, now you can see here I am having the group image. Whatever group is present inside the database, that group image is been displayed for me, and also the group name is been displayed for me. Okay, now as of now I don't have any votes because I have not implemented any button now. You can see here I am having 0 votes, but the data whatever I am having inside the database, that is been displayed here. Let me just come here inside voting system, inside user data. You can see I am having only one group, that is nothing but flowers, and that is been displayed for me. Let me just come back, and now here I am just going to register using another group. Here I'll just register using browsers. Mobile number same I am going to give, password 123, confirm password 123, choose file, and I am going to select for browsers. Let me just select browsers, open. I am just going to register as a group. Register, registration successful. Okay. Now I am just going to log in. I'll just come here. I'll refresh my database. It's loading. So now you can see this browser's data is been inserted here. I'm just going to copy this. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste. Then mobile, password 123. Then finally I'm just going to log in as a group. I'll just click on login. Now you can see the second group is been displayed for me. Okay, that is nothing but browsers, and inside this group name I'm having browsers, and votes is 0 because I have not voted anything, and here we have to implement the voting button as well. Now before creating button, let me just create the form because the user is going to vote for that one. Now below this HR tag I'm just going to create the form. I'll just create the form, and inside this action I'm just going to write here actions folder, and inside that I'm just going to create voting.php. Okay, in this file we are going to write the logic of coding. Let me just do Control B, and inside this actions folder I'm just going to create voting.php file. Voting.php. I'll just come to dashboard.php. Now inside this form I'm just going to pass this method. Method is equal to post. Okay, using post method I'm just going to access all the values, and also I'm just going to send all the values. Now inside this I'm just going to create 2 input fields. I'll just write here input, and type I'm just going to give here hidden because this value will be hidden. Whenever I click on the voting button, only then the value should be updated. So here I'm just going to give the type hidden, and name I'm just going to give here group votes. Group votes, and inside value I'm just going to write this PHP code. Okay, this entire thing I'm just going to copy, and here inside this I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, because here I have given the hidden, type is equal to hidden, this input field will be hidden. Whenever I click on voting button, only then this will be updated, and whatever value I have given here, that will be given to me. Again, this value is nothing but votes, and these votes are getting from the database. Whatever updated value I am having inside the database, that value I will be getting here, and using this value I am just going to display that one. So here I am just writing this one. Then again I am just going to create another input field. I'll just copy the same input field, and here I'm just going to paste. Now inside this name I'm just going to give here group ID. Group ID, and then here I'm just going to give the ID. Okay, these are the column names whatever is present inside the database. I'm just accessing the votes, and also I'm just accessing the ID of which particular group that ID belongs to. I'm just writing here 2 input fields, and for these 2 input fields I have given the type as hidden. Now these input fields will be hidden, and that will not be displayed for me. I'll just save this one. I'll refresh this. Okay, you can see I don't have anything. Okay, no input field is been displayed. Now suppose instead of this type, if I just give here text, I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see this input fields. Okay, for both the groups this input field is present. Okay, now I don't want this input field should be displayed for me. You can see inside this I'm having this 0 value because inside words I'm having this 0. So here I'm getting this value as 0. You can see because of this value I'm getting. Once the value gets updated inside that input field, that value will be stored and that value will be displayed for me. So here I'm just going to give here hidden. Okay, let me just show you here. I'll just give here text and here also I'm just going to give here text. Okay, now 2 input fields will be displayed for me for both the groups. You can see now here I'm having this 2 and here I'm having this 4 because for this voting system, for this flowers my ID is 2. Let me just come here. You can see for flowers my ID is 2 and for browsers my ID is 4. So whatever I am having inside the database, that is been displayed, and whenever I vote for that one using this ID, this value will be updated and whatever value I am having here, that will be displayed for me here. Okay, this is how we are going to work with input hidden fields. Now let me just write here hidden. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now this input fields will not be visible to me, but whatever values are there, using that values we are just going to display that one. Now here below this, let me just open PHP syntax here. I'll just open this PHP and here I'm just going to close that one. Now inside this PHP, now I'm just going to create the button. So here I'm just going to check for the session. I'll just write here session. Inside this I'm just going to pass this status. If my status, if it is equal to 1, okay, which means that the user has already voted. Okay, and here also we have checked for that one. If my status is equal to 1, then I should be getting voted for the user status. If the status is equal to 0, then I should be getting this not voted. So in the same way I'm just checking for this one, and here I'm just going to create the buttons now. Now inside this, first let me just close this PHP. Whatever I have opened here, I'm just closing that one here. Now below this I'm just going to create the button. I'll just write here button, and for this button I'm just going to give here voted. I'll just close this buttons. I'll save this, and before that let me just write here else condition, and also I'm just going to open here PHP. Now here I'm just going to write else condition, and inside else let me just close PHP, and again I'm just going to copy the button, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Now here I'll just write here vote. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I'm having unexpected error. Okay, again I have not closed that one. Let me just close. Here I'll just open PHP. Okay, now it's fine because here I'm having the closing tag and here I should open that one. I'll refresh this. Now you can see here I'm having the button. Okay, now for both the groups I have this button vote. Now once I click on vote, this status should be updated to voted, and also whatever value I'm having here inside this one, that should be updated, and also vote should be getting updated. Now as of now I'm having only button. Okay, because here you can see my status is not equal to 1 because my status is equal to 0. So this else part will be printed. Now for this button I'm just going to give some classes. Class I'll just give here BG success. BG success, and also I just want to give some margin from top and bottom. I'm just going to give, and inside this I just want to give here text to white. Again I'm just going to copy this. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste. Now instead of success let me just write here danger. I'll save this. I'll come here. I'll refresh this one. Now you can see here I'm having these buttons. Now for these buttons, okay, let me just decrease this one. Let me just write here 3. And also instead of, let me just give some padding as well. Padding I'm just going to give padding x of 3. I'll just copy this padding, and here I'm just going to paste. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I'm having this proper buttons. Now whenever I click on that, okay, now this whatever horizontal rule we are having, I should be getting below this button. So for that let me just copy this horizontal rule from here. I don't need here. Instead of that I just want to display here. I'll save this. I'll refresh this one. Okay, now here I am having this horizontal line. Okay, this is one group and this is the second group. Whenever user click on this vote button, the vote should be getting updated and also the status should be changed here. Now here once I have this button, let me just come here. Now for this vote I'm just going to give the type is equal to submit. Okay, whenever I click on this vote, only then I should be redirected to voting.php file. Inside action I have already given this path. Now whenever I click on this button, I should be redirected to this particular page. Now inside this we are going to write the logic for voting. Now suppose if I don't have any group, okay, now suppose if I don't have any group at all inside the database, then here below this form, okay, here we are checking for the condition, okay, if my group is set, only then I am just going to do all this stuff. If no group is present, then here I am just going to write here else, and inside this I am just going to write this one. Okay, before that let me just close here PHP, because here I have opened and here I am just closing that one. Now inside this I am just going to create one div, and for this div I am just going to give the class name as container. Let me just give the proper spelling, container, and inside this I am just going to create one paragraph, and here I will just write no groups to display something. I'll save this, and also I'm just going to open here PHP, because here I'm having this closing tag. So here I have just opened that one, and here I'm having this closing tag. I'll come here, I'll refresh this one. Now nothing happens, there is no change in the output, because already I'm having two groups. Now suppose if these two groups are not present, then I will be getting this message, no groups to display. I'll just come here, I'll just delete this flowers group, and also I'm just going to delete this browsers group. Let me just come to browse. Now again I'm just going to delete this group. Now let me just come back. Now here I am just going to log in using Khanam123, password 123, voter, login. Okay, as of now you can see we have used session variable. So whatever data we are getting, that data will be stored inside sessions. So even if I delete the groups now let me just come here. I'll refresh this one. You can see these groups are still present. Okay, before that we have to destroy the session variables, only then it is going to delete from here. Okay, so this is how it is going to work. Now here let me just come here, and here I will be adding some more groups here. I'll just come here, I'll just click on back, I'll just register. Again I'm just going to register using flowers. Then here I'm just going to write the mobile number, password 123. I'll just select the rose image. Okay, instead of rose let me just select another. Okay, this rose I'm just going to select, rose 2. I'll just register as a group. Registration successful. Again I'm just going to register. I'll just write here browsers, mobile number, password 123, confirm password 123. I'll just select the browser's image, group, register, registration successful. I'll just refresh this one. I have deleted ID number 2 and 4, so that will not be there, but inside 5 and 6 you can see two groups are present. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Now here I'm just going to log in using Khanam. I'll just copy this. Here I'm just going to paste. Again I'm just going to write. Here I'm just going to write password, and here I'll just select voter. I'll just click on login. Now you can see here I'm having only flower and browser. Now whatever data I was having here, that is been deleted. Now whatever new data I'm having here, that is been added for me. Okay, flowers and browsers. Now if I just add another group here, let me just register here, and here I'll be register using I'll just register using book, mobile number, password 123, confirm password 123, choose file. Let me select this book, group, register, okay. I'll just log in using Khanam, mobile number 123. I'll just log in as a voter, login. You can see here I am having this book. Okay, totally 3 groups has been displayed for me. Okay, this is how we are going to work, and this is the user profile, and this is the group profile. Okay, for any one of the group, user can vote, and once the status has been updated, here I'll be getting the number of votes, and also here I'll be getting the status. As of now it is not voted. Once I click on this voting button, everything should be updated, and that logic we are going to write inside this voting.php file. And this file I have to create inside actions folder. Here voting.php I have created inside partials folder, but here I have to create inside actions folder. I'm just going to move that one. I'll just move. Now inside actions folder I am having this voting.php file. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. Now once I click on this, you can see I am redirected to actions folder. Inside that I am redirected to voting.php file. Okay, now we are going to write the logic on this. Let me just explain you whatever we have done till now. Here I am just checking for the condition. Okay, if my group is set, only then I am just going to access all the values I am storing inside this variable. Then here using this for loop I am just going to run each and every time. Okay, how many groups are present, that many times this code will be executed. Okay, this entire code will be executed. All this, okay, from here this entire diff will be executed, this form will be executed, and also this session will be executed till here. till here it is going to run each and every time. How many groups are present, that many times this entire thing is going to execute. If group is not present, then this data will be displayed for me. Okay, no groups to display. Then here I am having all these things. Inside this I am just passing this images, and okay, I am just passing this source, then I am just passing this username, then I am just passing this votes. Then finally inside form I am just creating 2 input hidden fields, and for this I am just giving the value. Okay, whatever value I am getting from the database, I am accessing that one, I am storing inside this. Then for these 2 input fields I have given this name attribute, and these attributes are very important, and using this inside voting.php we are going to access whatever value we are getting here. We are just going to access that one and we will be displaying that. Then here I am just checking the condition. If my status is 1, then I am just creating the button, and for that I am just going to give voted. If my status is not equal to 1, then I am just going to write here vote, and I am just going to give the text color as text danger, and also for this I have given the type is equal to submit. Okay, this is how we are going to work, and this is how we are going to display the user data and group data. Okay, this was our output. Let me just come back, and here I am just going to write here Khanam, mobile number 123, voter, login. Now you can see all the 3 data, all the 3 groups is been displayed, and also Khanam is been displayed. We have fetched all the data from the database, that is group data and the user data, and also we have displayed that data here. Okay, here I am having this all the group data, and here I am having this user data, and also we have seen how to display these buttons, and here I am having the status as not voted. Okay, now we are going to add the voting functionality, and once the user clicks on this button, okay, this status should be updated. Here voting should be updated, and also the number of votes should be updated, as well as in the database this status should be updated and this vote should be updated. Okay, now we are going to design for that one, and here whenever I click on this vote button, let me just come down. Whenever I click on this vote button, I should be redirected to actions folder. Inside that I am having voting.php, and inside this file we are going to write the entire code. And also for this button I have given the type is equal to submit. Now here inside this voting.php, first I am just going to write this PHP syntax, and inside this first let me just start the session here. Session start, because we are going to use all the session variables here, and also I am just going to include connect.php file. My file is present inside the same folder action.php, so here I am directly writing here connect.php. Okay, now here inside this first I have to access this input hidden fields. Okay, now inside this I have given this group votes and group ID. I just have to access this both the fields. So here I am just going to come. Now here I'll just create one variable. I'll just write here votes, and inside this using post method I'm just going to access this one. Let me just come here. I'll just copy this group votes, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, now whatever value I'm having inside that input hidden field, that value will be accessed here, and that will be stored inside this variable. Now once the user clicks on that, I should be updating this one. So here let me just write here total votes, and inside this whatever value I am having here, I'll just copy this one. Here I'm just going to paste. I just have to increase by 1. Each time when the user clicks on the voting button, this value should be updated and it should be increased by 1. Then below this I'm just going to create another variable. Let me just write here gid. Here I'll just write here post, and inside this I'm just going to pass this group ID. Okay, whatever ID I'm getting from here, I'm just going to access that one. I'm just going to store here. Okay, here I'm just accessing this group ID, and here I have just started the session, and using this session I'm just going to access the user ID. So let me just write here UID, and using this session variable I'm just going to access the ID. Okay, this session variable I have already created inside login.php. You can see here I have already created that one session ID, and here I'm just accessing that one inside voting.php. I'm just accessing this ID. I'm just accessing this ID session variable. I'm storing inside this UID. Okay, now I have to write the update query, because here I'm updating the value of votes, and also I have to update the value of status. So here I'm just going to write update query now. Here I'll just write update votes, and inside this I'm just going to pass here MySQL. Okay, directly I'm just going to write the query now. I'm not going to create any query variable SQL. Directly I'm just going to write the query now. Okay, like this also you can do, or whatever we have done previously, that also you can do. Now inside this first it will take 2 parameters. First is my connection variable, and second is the query. Okay, first I'm just going to write this update my table name is user data, so I'm just going to write that one inside backticks. I'll just write here user data update table name, and I have to set the values now. I'm just going to set I'll just take the column name votes, and inside this I'm just going to pass the total votes. Okay, whatever value I'm getting. Okay, this has been deleted from here. Okay, let me just write that one again. I don't know how it got deleted. Votes plus 1. I'll just copy this, and here I'm just going to paste that one. Okay, inside single quotes I'm just going to paste that one. Whatever value I'm having inside votes, whenever user clicks on the button, I'm increasing by 1. So this value I'm just updating inside the table. Okay, whatever value, suppose I'm having here 4, so that value will be updated, and that number of votes will be stored inside this votes. And also I have to give the condition where my ID is equal to this group ID. Whatever ID I'm just accessing from the group, okay, if it is equal to this one, only for that one I have to update. And inside this I'm just going to paste that group ID. Okay, this is how we are going to update. Now I have to update the status as well. So here I'm just going to copy this entire thing. I'm just going to paste here. I'll just write here status. Now instead of this, let me just remove this. This entire thing I'm just going to remove. Now instead of this, I just have to update the status. Once I give the vote, then I have to give the status is equal to 1. I have to update the status. If my status is equal to 1, only then I will be getting the button as voted, and also I will be getting the status as voted. So here I'm just going to set the status, and here I'll just give the condition where my column ID is equal to whatever ID, okay, using this session whatever ID I'm getting, I'm just going to pass that one. Okay, of this particular user ID I'm just going to update. If my user ID is equal to this ID, I'm just going to update the status. Okay, this is how we are going to write. Update table name. First I'm just going to update the votes. How many votes I will be getting from here, I'm just going to update that one. I will be storing inside the database table. Once user is voted, then here I'm just setting the status is equal to 1, where my ID, okay, column ID is equal to user ID. Okay, whichever user is login, if that user and whatever data I'm having inside the database, if that matches, only then I have to update the status, or else the status will be 0. Now below this I'm just going to write one if condition, and inside this first I'm just going to pass this. I'll just copy this one, and here I'm just going to paste. Okay, if the number of votes is updated, and also if the number of status, I'll just copy this one, and here I'll just write and here I'll just paste that one. Okay, if the status is changed to 1, and also if the number of votes is updated, which means that the user is voted. If both the conditions are true, only then I have to do some changes here, or else I'm just going to do here, else I'll just write echo, and inside this script, let me just write here script. Here I'll just write another script. I'm just going to close the script. Here let me just write here alert, and inside this I'm just going to write here voting unsuccessful. Okay, let me just write technical error. Technical error, vote after some time. Okay, something I'm just going to write, vote after some time. I'll just close this one, and also I'm just going to give the location. I'll just write here window.location. Okay, if I get error, I should be redirected to partials. Let me just write that one. I'll just write here double quotes, and here I'm just going to pass that one, and here I should be redirected to partials. Inside this I should be redirected to dashboard. Again the user has to try, so I'll be redirected to dashboard.php. I'll save this. Let me just come to dashboard.php, and inside this I'm having all these buttons, so I will be redirected to this particular page, and I have to log in. Okay, here I'm having this window.location, and I should be redirected to dashboard.php. If the user is having some technical errors or some technical issues, okay, the user will be redirected to dashboard.php, and also this error will be displayed, technical error, vote after some time. Okay, if both the conditions are true, then I am just going to do some changes here. If any one of the condition is false, then I will be getting this message. Now inside this if, I am just going to create one variable. I'll just create one variable. I'll just write here get groups. Inside this I'm just going to write here MySQL query, and here I'm just going to write, first I'm just going to pass here connection variable, and second I'm just going to select all the things. Let me just write here, and here I'll be writing select. First I'm just going to select the username, then I'll be selecting the photo. Okay, whatever photo is present inside the database, I'm just going to select the votes, and also I'm just going to select the ID, whatever is present inside the database from my table name. Okay, my table name is user data, so I'm just going to write that one, where, okay, where my standard is equal to group, okay, only then I am just going to select this particular groups. Okay, I'm just going to select username, photo, votes and ID where my standard is equal to group. Suppose if I'm having 3 groups, okay, only 3 groups data will be selected for me and that query will be executed here. Now below that I'm just going to create one variable groups. Now once I get all this data, I have to fetch all the data. So we are having MySQL fetch all. Using this we can fetch all the data and inside this we have to pass this variable. Okay, wherever our query is getting executed, first parameter we have to pass that one and second will be our MySQL query assoc. Whatever groups I am getting from here, that it is going to join and as an object I am just going to get the output. So we have to use this MySQL fetch all. I'll just create session variable. I'll just write here session and inside this I'm just going to pass here groups, which will be equal to the groups. Okay, I'm just assigning all the values inside this groups. Let me just write here dollar symbol. Then below this session variable, I'm just going to change the status. Okay, session. I'm just going to change the status. Status is equal to 1. Okay, we have to update that one. So here I'm just changing the status to 1. Okay, we have already checked for the condition. If my status is equal to 1, only then I should be getting the status as voted, or else I should be getting as not voted. Once it is done, now here I'm just going to come. I'll just copy this entire script. Before that, let me just close this. I'll copy this one and here I'm just going to paste. Now here instead of this, I'll just write here voting successful. And also location I'm just going to write. Okay, the same location I'm just going to write. I should be redirected to dashboard.php. Okay, this is how we are going to write the code. Now once we are done with writing the logic, so let us just check for the output now. I'll just come here. I'll refresh this one. I have login using Khanam user. Now I'm just going to vote for this flowers. I'll just click on vote. I'm getting this voting successful. I'll just click on OK. You can see all the buttons have been changed to green color. You can see the number of vote is been updated for this flowers and also the status has been changed to voted. I'll just come back. Okay, log out we are going to work. Don't worry. I'll just log in using Sanya now. I'll just copy Sanya. Here I'm just going to paste mobile number, password 123 and I'm just going to give here voter. I'll just log in. Now you can see Sanya is not voted for any group. So here I am having this output. Now again if Sanya vote for this flower group, I'll just click on this OK. You can see again the voting. Okay, the number of vote is been updated to 2 because Sanya and Khanam is voted for flowers. And still for browser and book we are having 0 votes. Okay, no votes has been applied for this. And here you can see the status has been changed to voted. Okay, this is how it is going to work. Okay, now we are going to work on this logout functionality as well. Okay, now here I am just going to come back. Now inside this URL, if I just write here partials, let me just write here partials dashboard.php. Now I have login using Sanya. Okay, now as soon as I enter this, again you can see I am getting this Sanya data because I have not destroyed the sessions. So whatever variable I am having here, that is been set and only Sanya data will be displayed for me. Now using this logout, I have to destroy the session variable and also I should restrict this one. Without logging in, I should not be redirected to dashboard.php. We are going to see that one later. Okay, this is how we are going to work with dashboard.php. Now again let me just come back. I'll just register using another user. I'll just write here Sia. Mobile number same thing, password 123, confirm password 123, choose file. Let me just select one file. And from here let me just select this butterfly. Okay, let me just select this cartoon. And here I'm just going to register as a voter. I'll just register. Registration successful. Okay, I'll just log in using Sia now. Mobile number 123. Okay, password 123, voter, login. Okay, now you can see for Sia I am having all this data. Okay, I have not voted and here you can see the number of votes here I am having as 2 and for this I am having this one. And if I show you in the database, let me just refresh this one. For Khanam and Sanya, the status will be changed to 1 now. Okay, let me just refresh. You can see for Sanya and Khanam the status is been changed to 1 and for this flowers group the votes is been changed to 2. Okay, this is how we are going to update and whatever update we have done, okay, that will be updated in the database as well. Now the Sia status is 0. So for that I am getting here not voted and also these buttons are red now and here I am having the text as vote. As soon as I give the vote, here I will be getting the status as 1 and also the number of votes will be changed. Now let me just give the vote for browsers. I'll just click on OK. Now you can see the status has been changed to voted, and for browsers I got 1 vote. I'll just come here, I'll refresh this one. Now you can see the status of CI has been changed to 1 and the browsers, okay, the browser vote has been changed to 1. Okay, this is how we are going to create the simple voting system. Now next we are going to work on logout section. Okay, now in this we are going to work on logout session. Okay, now inside dashboard.php I have created 2 buttons, back button and logout button. Okay, now whenever I click on this back button, I will be redirected to home page, and whenever I click on this logout button, I will be redirected to logout.php. And this file I have already created inside partials folder, that is nothing but logout.php. Now here inside this, first I am just going to write here PHP syntax. First I am just going to start the session, because using session I am just getting all the data. So here I am just going to start the session. Once I start the session, I will be getting all the session variables inside that. Once I get all the variables, I am just going to destroy that one. Okay, once the user clicks, I am just going to destroy all the variables, whatever data is stored inside this sessions, that entire thing will be destroyed. Okay, once I log out, then I should be redirected to home page. I'll just write here location, and here I'm just going to write that one. Okay, let me just close here. And this also, let me just close this. Okay, here I should be redirected to home page, so I'm just writing this one. I'll just save this one. I'll refresh this. As soon as I click on logout, you can see I'm redirected to voting system. Now if I just write here partials dashboard.php, you can see I'm redirected to this particular page, okay, dashboard.php. But here you can see I'm getting this no groups to display. I'm getting all this error because all the session variables are destroyed and no variable is set now. So here I'll be getting this error. So we have to fix this one. Okay, so to avoid this one, I'll just come to dashboard.php. Here below where I'm just creating this session, I'm just going to check for the condition if not is set, and here I'll be writing this session variable, and inside this I'm just going to access the ID. If the user or if the group ID is not set, let me just write the proper spelling here. If it is not set, then here I'm just going to write the location. I'll just write here header, and inside this I'm just going to pass the location, and I should be redirected to home page. Okay, I should not go to dashboard.php without login. I should be redirected to home page. I'll just come back. I'll refresh this one. Now here inside this, if I just write here partials, let me just write here partials dashboard.php, you can see I am not redirected to dashboard.php. Directly I am redirected to voting system. Okay, that is nothing but home page. Okay, this is how we are going to work. Unless and until I don't log in, I will not be able to move to dashboard page. Now here I am just going to log in using Sanya, mobile number, password 123, voter, login. Once I log in, only then I will be getting all this data. I'll just click on back. Now if I just write here, okay, I have not destroyed any session now. Now here I'm just going to write partials. You can see without destroying I'm getting all this data. Now once I click on logout, okay, now all the session variables are destroyed. Now if I just write here partials, you can see I am redirected to login page because all the session variables are destroyed. So once I can't find any session variables, then I should be redirected to home page. Now once I log in from here, only then I should be redirected to dashboard page. Okay, this is how we are going to work, and this is the simple voting system. We are done with all the parts of this project. Now finally we are going to do the revision of this entire project, and then we are going to close this project. Now in this tutorial I am going to explain you whatever we have done till now, so that you will have clear idea and also you will understand in more better way. Okay, unless and until we don't practice and we don't revise anything, then we forget. So I'm just going to revise this whatever we have done. So let's get started with this. Okay, first I created index.php file, and inside that I have just written this basic boilerplate of HTML. Okay, then I have just changed the title here, PHP voting system, and here I have just linked bootstrap link. Okay, bootstrap CSS link. Then inside this body I have just given this class, bootstrap class, that is nothing but bg dark. Once I give this class, my entire background color will become black color. And also let me just copy the path, and here I'll just come, I'll paste this one, and from here I'm just going to remove this. I'll just write here localhost. Okay, you can see this background color, whatever you can see, that black color, this is because I have given here bg dark. Then below that I am having H1 heading, and inside that I have just given the text as voting system, and for this I have just added this Bootstrap class. Okay, if you are not aware of Bootstrap, then also no problem. If you just know the basics, you know what color we have to give, how we have to use classes, only basic knowledge of Bootstrap, then you can get started with Bootstrap. Then below this I have just created one div, and inside this div, okay, you can see for this div I have given the bg as info, which will give me this blue color. And inside this blue container I am just having this heading login. Then inside that I am having another section, and for this section I have given the class as container. Now inside this div container I am having the form. Okay, this entire form I have just created, and inside this form, okay, I have just used Bootstrap here. You can see this class MB3 means margin bottom 3, and inside each input field I have just given name attribute, and these attributes are very important. Whatever value we give for this name attribute, those are very important. Using these values we are going to access the input field values, and that data we are going to match with the database, and that data we are going to insert inside the database. Okay, now for this I have just given this form control. Okay, this is the Bootstrap class. Once I give this one, it is going to take complete 100% of the container. If you want to reduce the size, I have given the width as 50 and also margin auto, because I just want that input fields in the middle. So here I have just given that one. Then again for mobile I have created, and also I have given here required is equal to required. Without filling this, I don't have to enter inside the database. Then maximum length is 10 and minimum length is 10. Okay, this is the basic validation I have added, but for advanced level we are having different kind of validation that we are not going to see in this project. Then below that I have done for the password field. Then finally I am having this select, and inside this select I am having this group and voter. Okay, whenever we give this select, inside this option we have to give this value. Okay, whatever we select, this particular value will be stored inside the database. Okay, not this value whatever we have given here, that will be stored inside the database. And for this select I have given the name attribute, and inside that I have passed the value as std. Then below this div container I am having this button, and for this button I have given the type as submit. Okay, now whenever I click on this submit button, okay, that is nothing but a login button, I will be redirected to this particular page. Okay, and inside this page all the login code, all the backend login code is written. Then below that I am having this text, do you have an account? If I don't have, okay, if this data is not present inside the database, and if the user is not registered, then I have to register here. Okay, once I click on register, I will be redirected to partials folder. Inside that I am having registration.php. Okay, this is the design for login page. Okay, now this is my structure, this is my file structure. You can see here I am having actions folder, partials folder, uploads folder, and inside home I am having index.php, and here I am having style.css. Now inside index.php I have written the code for login form. Now once I click on register button, I should be redirected to partials folder. Inside that I have created this registration.php. I'll just click on that. Now here inside this I have just done the same thing. I have written the basic boilerplate of HTML. I have just changed the title to voting system. Then here I have just linked Bootstrap CSS link, and for this also I have just given the BG dark for the body. Same thing I have done. Okay, I have written H1. Then below that I am having one container which is having bg info. Then inside that I am having one h2. For that I have given register account. Let me just click here. You can see this I am just going to design. Then inside this form I am just giving the action. Okay, whenever I click on this I should be redirected to register.php, and inside register.php I am going to write the PHP code for registering a user, and that data will be stored inside the database. Method I am using here post. Basically we are having two methods, get and post. You can use any one of them, but if you are using get method, that whatever data you are sending, that will be displayed in the URL. So you cannot send passwords or your sensitive data you cannot send using get method. So you can use post method to send sensitive data inside the database, because nobody can see that one. Then here I am just giving this enc type attribute because I am inserting the image as well. Okay, now if I don't give this one, I can only insert the text data inside the database. If I give this one, I can insert the images as well, because inside this registration form, you can see here I am having the field for image. So once I click on this, it will open and I have to select the image from there. So I have to pass this. If I don't pass this, then I will not be able to insert the image. Then in the same way, I am just creating input fields, and for that I have just given enter your username, and for this also I have given the name attribute. Then below that I am having this mobile number, then I am just registering password. Then here I am having confirm password. If both this field matches, only then I have to proceed. Then here I am having choose file, and for this type I have given as file. For password we are having type is equal to password. For input we are having type is equal to text. Okay, for better understanding, I have already uploaded what are the values present in this type attribute. If you want, you can just refer that one, and this video I have uploaded inside HTML series. Then below this I am having, okay, we are having this select, then finally I am having this button. Then below this I am having this paragraph, and inside that I am just writing already have an account, which means that the user is already registered. Instead of registering, I just have to log in here. Now once I click on login, I will be redirected to home page, and inside home page I am having this login form. The user can directly log in. Let me just come here. Once I click on login, you can see the user is directed to home page, and inside this user can log in. Okay, this is the basic front end part. Now we are just going to design the database. Once we are done with this, let me just open PHP My Admin Dashboard. Let me just open PHP My Admin Dashboard, and inside this I will show you how to create database, and inside that I have just created one table. Okay, now inside this database voting system I have created the table user data, and inside this table you can see here I am having all these fields. I am having ID field. Let me just come to structure. I am having ID, username, mobile, password, photo, standard, status and votes. Okay, ID will be primary key to the entire table. Then I am having the username, mobile, password, photo. Standard is nothing but you can see here I am having group and voter. Whatever value I select, this particular value will be stored inside the database. Then here I am having status. Status is nothing but whether the user is voted or not. If the user is voted, the status should be updated to 1. If the user is not voted, then the status should be 0. Based on that value, we are going to display the status, and also we are going to display the voting buttons. Then here I am having this votes, and using this votes, it is nothing but how many votes that particular group has got. Okay, how many people has voted for that group, that will be displayed inside this votes column. Okay, this is the basic structure of a database and table. Then once we are done creating the database and table, inside this actions folder I have created this connect.php. Now inside connect.php I have written the code to connect to the database using MySQL connect, and this is going to take 4 parameters. First is our server name, then username, then password whatever we are having inside the database, then finally our database name. Okay, whatever database we have created, that database you have to pass. And here I am just taking the condition. If my connection is not successful, then I should be getting the error. Okay, here I have not written else, because whenever I include this file, I don't want to display connection successful in each and every page. So I have just removed that one, and here I am just changing the condition. If the connection is not successful, only then I should be getting the error. If I am not getting any error, which means that I am successfully connected. Then once we are done all these things, we have to register a user. We have to insert the data inside the database. Okay, let me just come to partials folder. Inside this I am having registration.php. Now once user enter all these fields, once the user clicks on this register button, I will be redirected to actions folder. Inside that I am having register.php. I will be redirected to actions. Inside that you can see here I am having register.php. Now inside this I have written the code for registering a user and inserting the data inside the database. Okay, now first I have to connect to the database to work on database. So here I am just including connect.php. Then whatever value we have given inside the name attribute, using that I am just accessing all the values inside the input fields, and here I am storing inside this variable for username, mobile, password, confirm password. Okay, for image we have to write this. Okay, inside image we will be having multiple parts. Okay, that is the reason here I have passed enc type multi-part form data. So inside image we will be having name, we will be having temp name, we will be having size, we will be having type. Okay, we will be having plenty of things inside the image. As of now I am just going to access the name and the temp name, and whenever we are using image we have to write these files, because we are just passing the type is equal to files, and images can be accessed using this one. Okay, using this files. Then finally I am just accessing this select value. Once I accessed all the values, okay, these values are nothing but this one. Okay, let me just come here. Now whatever I am registering here, okay, these values I am accessing, I am storing inside this variables. Okay, once I accessed all the values, here I am just checking the condition. If my password and confirm password, if they are not equal, then I should be displaying this message, password do not match, and I should be redirected to registration.php. Okay, the same file I have to redirect. The same file I have to redirect where I am having this registration form. Else means my password and confirm passwords are getting matched. And here first we have, okay, we are having the image as well. So this image here, I have created this uploads folder. Inside this home directory, I have created this uploads folder. Inside this uploads folder, I have to move the images. So using this move uploaded file, whatever temporary name I got from the image, okay, this particular, I have accessed this one, I have stored inside this variable. I'm just writing that one here. I'm moving this image inside this uploads folder. Okay, this particular, okay, whatever name I'm having, that image name I'm moving inside this uploads folder. Okay, this is how we are going to move the image inside that folder. Then I'm writing this SQL query, insert query, to insert the data inside the database. Whatever data I'm having inside the input fields, I'm just inserting that data inside the database. So here I'm just writing this SQL query, insert into table name. My table name is user data. Then inside this parenthesis, I'm just passing the column names. Okay, this whatever I am passing here, that should be exactly matching with this column names. Okay, whatever I have created here, that should be exactly matching with this names, username, mobile, password. Then here I'm just writing this values, and inside this I'm just passing this values. Okay, now this values, whatever I'm writing here, this values I'm just accessing, I'm storing inside this variables. Okay, this variables I'm storing. From here I'm accessing, I'm storing inside this variable. So now this variable will be having the value. So here I have to pass the value. Again, second time the user enters, again that data will be accessed and that will be stored here. So again the second data will be stored here. Okay, values are going to change. Dynamically the data should be inserted inside the database. So here we are just passing that variables. I'm having mobile. Okay, here I'm having username, mobile, password, image and standard. And for status and votes, as of now I'm just giving the default value, that is 0. Okay, whenever the user is voting, only then this status should be updated, and how many votes that particular group has got, only then this vote should be updated. So as of now I have just given as 0, 0. Then once I have written this query, I have to execute that one, and this MySQLi query will take two parameters. First is the connection variable and second is the query variable, whatever we have written here. And below this we are just taking the condition, if my result is executed successfully, which means that I am able to register successfully and all the data is being stored inside the database. Once all the data is stored inside the database, I should be redirected to home page, that is nothing but login page. Where my login form is displayed, I should be redirected there, and from there I have to log in. Then below that I'm just writing here else. If I am not able to successfully, if I am having some error, then this error should be displayed for me using this die method. Okay, this is the logic for registration. We just have to write so much. You can just take the screenshot of this. Okay, this is the first part. Then we are having the second part here. Then inside this else, first we are writing this, first we are moving the image, then we are inserting the query, then we are executing this one. Then finally we are just taking the condition, if my result is executed successfully, okay, that is nothing but if my query is executed successfully, then I should print this message and I should be redirected to home page. Else I should just display the error. This is how we are going to write the logic for registration. Okay, once we write all this one, we will be able to register a user and all the data will be stored inside the database. Now once we are done with this, once we are having all the data, now we have to work on login page. Okay, inside index.php we have already created this one. We have this login page, and inside this we are having this form. And for this button I have given the type is equal to submit. Whenever I click on this button, I should be redirected to this particular path. Okay, inside actions folder I have to redirect to login.php, and here I have passed here method is equal to post. Okay, now let me just open login.php. Inside actions folder I just have to open login.php. Now inside this, okay, first I'm just going to connect to the database, so I'm just including this file. Then here I'm just accessing 4 fields, okay, username, mobile, password and standard. Whatever data I'm having inside the database, from that I'm just accessing these 4 fields. Okay, I just need 4 fields to check whether it is matching or not, so I'm just accessing 4 fields here. Let me just come here, and inside this demo project you can see I'm having username, mobile, password and this standard. Out of these fields, username, mobile, password, photo, standard, status and votes, I'm accessing only username, mobile, standard, and also I'm just accessing this one, okay, this password. I'm just accessing 4 fields, and whatever value I'm writing here, I'm just accessing that one, I'm storing inside this variables. Now here I am just writing this query, select star from user data. I am selecting all the data, and here using this where clause I am just checking this one. My username, whatever I am having inside the database, that should be equal to whatever value I am typing inside the input field. Okay, whatever value I am typing, that will be stored inside this variable. So here I am just giving equal to. When this value inside the database, if it is equal to the value I entered, only then I have to execute this one. And here using this AND operator, I am just checking for the mobile, same thing I am doing. Then again using AND operator, I am just checking condition for password. Then finally for standard, whatever data I am having inside the database, that should be matching with the value whatever I have entered. Okay, and also I am selecting all the data from the table. Once I am done with writing the query, I have to execute this one using MySQL query, and this will take two parameters. First it will take connection variable, and second it will take our whatever query we have written, that we have to write here. You can write like this separate variable, or you can just copy this entire query and you can just paste that one here. Okay, instead of writing variable, you can write the query as it is. Once it is executed, using this MySQL num rows, I am just finding the number of rows present inside the database. After executing this query, if I am having some data that is matching with the database, okay, which means that I am having some rows inside the database. So if it is greater than 0, then I am just going to select username, photo, votes and ID from the table, where my standard is equal to group. Okay, wherever I am having standard is equal to group, I am just selecting all the group data. And once I write this query, I have to execute this one. Okay, same way I have done here. I have just, for credentials, I am just writing this one. Then for accessing group, I am just executing this one. Then again, I am just checking the condition if my number of rows is greater than 0, which means that that group data is present inside the database. Okay, groups are multiple, user is only one. Okay, only one user can log in at a time, but we are having multiple groups and each user has to see that group. So how many groups are present inside the database? I am just going to fetch all the groups, and using this MySQL fetch all, I am just going to fetch all the group. Here I have executed the query, and whatever data I am having, I have stored inside this variable. So using this MySQL fetch all, I am just passing this result group, okay, in which I am having all the data. Then we just have to write here MySQL assoc so that we can join the group. Once we are done with this, I am just creating sessions. Okay, if we are using sessions, we should always start the session here. Okay, you have to start here, only then we can use sessions, or else we will not be able to use session. Now here I have just created session variable called groups, and inside this I am just going to, whatever groups I am getting from here, I am just storing inside this variable, and using this session variable, I am just assigning that value to this session variable. Okay, inside this, if we are just taking that one, then below that, whatever data I am having here, this is the user data. Only one user can log in. Let me just show you here. Okay, now if I just log in here, Khanam, here let me just give the mobile number, password 123, voter, login. Now you can see here only one data I need, and whichever user is login, only that particular data I need. Okay, so for that here I am, whatever result I am getting here, after executing this one, whatever result I am getting here, I am just fetching that one. Okay, I just want to fetch that one because in that I am having only one user data. So I am just fetching that particular record. Now using this one, that particular user data will be stored inside this variable. Now I am just creating sessions. For ID I am just creating here session variable, and for status I am just creating, and finally I am just creating this data session variable. Now inside this data, this variable I am having all the data, that particular user data I am having. So from that user data I am just accessing the ID, and this ID I am storing inside this session variable, user ID I am storing. Then again I am accessing the status using this data, then I am storing that into this session variable status. Suppose if I am having 0 as my status, and that 0 will be stored inside this session variable status. Then finally whatever result I got from here, that is the user data, I am just accessing that one. I have just created one session variable data, and inside that whatever value I am having in this one, I am just passing that one here. Now this session variable will be having entire data of this user, whatever user we have accessed, that entire data will be stored inside this variable. Okay, now once I am successfully, once all it is done, if I am not having any error, then once I log in, then I should be redirected to partials folder. Inside that I am having this dashboard.php, and inside this file we have to write the logic of voting, and also how to display the groups, how to display the users, everything we have to write inside this dashboard.php. Now once we are redirected, okay, now once we are done with this, we will be redirected to this page. Okay, if we are having some error, which means that if my number of rows is less than 0, which means this data is not present, okay, some error I am having, this data is not present, then I should be getting this message alert, and I should be getting here invalid credentials. Let me just come here, I'll log out from here. Here let me just write here Khanam12, this user is not present inside the database. Voter login, okay, now these rows are not present inside the database, so my if condition gets failed, I'll come inside the else, and whatever I have given inside the alert, that will be printed here. Okay, that is nothing but invalid credentials, because this data is not getting matched. And inside my query I have just given here AND operator, which means that all the conditions should be matching, only then it is going to execute. If any one fails, then it is not going to execute and I will be getting invalid credentials. Okay, this is how we are going to write the logic for login. Using this we can log in. Now once we are done with this, once we are successful, we will be redirected to dashboard.php, and dashboard.php is created inside partials folder. Let me just come to partials folder. Inside this we are having this dashboard.php. Now inside this file, first I have just written this basic boilerplate of HTML. I have just changed the title, and here I have just linked this bootstrap CSS link. And below this I am just linking this CSS file. Let me just tell you later this one. Okay, I'll just explaining you whatever I have done inside this one. Then below this head I have just created one body, and for body I have just given the BG as secondary and also text light. Okay, whatever text I write inside this one, that will be white color. Then below that I am having this back button and logout button, and for these buttons I have just given some bootstrap classes, okay, for styling purpose. Now for this back button, whenever I click on this button, I should be redirected to home page. So here I am just giving this one. Okay, 2 dots I am just giving here because, let me just come here. Now dashboard file is present inside partials folder. Now index.php file is present inside root folder. So I have to come outside this folder. So to come outside of this, we have to write here 2 dots. And whenever I click on this logout button, I should be redirected to logout.php. And here I am not writing this double dot slash because inside this partials folder itself I am having this logout.php. If I am having the file in the same folder, then I don't have to write like this. Okay, 2 dots I don't have to write. I can write like this. Okay, this is going to work. 1 dot and this slash, it is going to work. But 2 dots I cannot write. If I write 2 dots, then I will be coming outside this partials folder itself. Then below this button I am having this H1 heading. Let me just show you the output here. I'll just log in using Khanam, mobile number, password, voter, login. Now you can see here I am having this back button, logout button. Below that I am having this heading. Now below this I am having 2 sections. This is the group data and this is the user data. So for that I have just created one div, and for this div I have just given the class as row, and I am just passing some margin here. Now inside this div row, I have just created 2 divs. Okay, I have just created here column MD7. Okay, that is the first child of this row. And again I have just created here column MD. Okay, you can see here column MD5, which is the second child of the row. So I have just created 2 div containers. Inside this first div container, I am just going to display the group. And inside second div container, I am going to display the user. After writing this row class, if we are just writing these columns, then it should always summing up to 12. Now here I have just created the first child with 7, then second child is 5. You can see the second child is 5, 7 plus 5 will be 12. Now inside this 7, okay, before that I have just created another row. Okay, div I have just created inside this one. Again inside this I am just creating this 2 div containers. And inside this first I am just passing here 4, then I am just passing here 8. Now inside this column I am just going to display the image, okay, the group image. Then inside this 8th column I am just going to display the group name and this board's name. Okay, you don't have to worry whatever we have written PHP. I am just going to explain you. This is how we are just going to create the simple layout. Then below this, inside this column, I have just passed for image. Okay, here I am just, okay, PHP, you don't have to worry, I will be explaining you what is this. Then inside this strong tag, I have just written name, mobile and status. Once I am done with this basic layout, here what I have done is I will just come on top. Now here I have just started the session. Once I have started the session using this session variable data, and this session variable data we have already created inside login.php. You can see inside this session variable data, whatever data, user data I got from here, I am just storing that one, and here I am just assigning that value. Now using this session variable, let me just come here. Now this entire session variable I am just assigning inside this data variable. Now all that user data will be stored inside this variable. I'll just come down. Now to display the user, here I am just writing this. Okay, let me just come here. Now below this strong tag I have just written this one, and here I am just writing this echo. Now inside this data, inside column name I am having username. Let me just come here. Inside the database I am having this tables, and inside this table I am having username, mobile, password, photo, all the column names I am having. And from here I just want to display the username. And inside this I am having all the data of the user, whichever user is login using session variables I have accessed that one. So only particular user I am just going to display, username, mobile, and here I am just writing here status because here I am just taking for the condition. If my session of status, okay, here I have already accessed that one, you can see here I have already accessed. If my session of status, if it is 1, then I should be getting voted. If it is not equal to 1, then I should be getting not voted in red color because here I have given danger. If it is voted, then it will be in green color because I have given here success. And this variable whatever I have created here, I am just passing that one. Okay, in place of this, okay, instead of writing this data, then square braces, then inside that one instead of writing status, here I am just passing that status variable. Now once we are done with this, I will be getting the user data. Now here I am just coming outside this partials folder, I am coming inside this uploads folder, and from here I am just going to access the photo whatever is present inside the database. Okay, this is how we are going to display the user data. Then here, once we are done with that, now here I have just created inside this column 7, I am just taking for the condition. Okay, if my group, okay, if my session group is set, which means that if I am having some groups inside the database, then whatever session variable I have accessed from here, you can see all the group data will be stored inside this variable. I have created session variable called groups, and inside that I have just initialized this value here. Now this will be having the entire data, okay, whatever data I got from here, that will be stored inside this session variable. Now here I am just checking for that one, and whatever value I am having inside the session, I am storing inside this groups variable. Now I will be having multiple groups, and each and every time I have to execute this one. So I am just going to use for loop, and inside this first I am just going to pass initialization, I is equal to 0, I is less than count of groups, how many groups are there, it will be counting that one. Okay, now suppose if I am having 4 groups, so here I will be having 4, 0 is less than 4, yes it is, so it will come inside this one, and it is going to execute all the things whatever I have written here. Now inside this column 7 I have created this row. Okay, here I have just closed this PHP syntax. Then again I have created the row, and inside this row I am having 2 columns, column 4 and column 8. Inside column 4 I am just displaying the image, and here instead of writing data and inside square braces, we are not going to write data. Okay, data is only for the user. Okay, whichever user is login, only that data will be stored inside data. Okay, for groups, each and every time I have to execute. Okay, group of I, for 0th group this photo should be displayed. Again if I am having another group, then for first group this particular photo should be displayed. How many groups I am having inside the database, that many groups should be displayed. So here using this index number I am just going to access the group. Then below that I am just doing the same thing again using this groups, $i, username I am accessing of the group. Then finally I am just accessing how many votes that particular group has got. Okay, inside column 7 I have created the row, and inside this row I am having column 4 and column 8. Okay, now it is ending here. Okay, this inside row it is ending here. Now below that I have just created the form. Okay, whenever I click on vote button, I should be redirected to voting.php. Now below this I have just created 2 input fields with hidden type, and here I have just given group votes and group ID. Okay, name attribute I have just given here, and inside this value I am just passing this one. I am just accessing the votes, how many votes are present inside the database. I am just accessing the votes and I am just passing that one. Okay, inside this value I am just passing the value. Then from here I am just going to access the ID of which particular group, what ID I am having inside the database. I am just accessing that one. Okay, I am just printing that one. I am storing that value inside this value attribute. Then below that I have just created this PHP syntax, and here I am just writing if my session is equal to 1, then I just want this button, voted button I need, because we have already seen if my session is 0, the user is not voted. If my session is 1, the user is voted. Once I get session is equal to 1, then I should be getting here voted, and also I have to disable the button. Okay, let me just write here disable. I just forgot to write this one. Okay, I will save this. Okay, I should not click on this button again. Then finally I am having this one. If my status is not equal to 1, then I should be having here vote, and for this vote I will be having BG danger. Then again I have just opened this PHP syntax because here I have just closed that one. open close. Okay, you can see open close. Then here I am having this button HTML code. Then again I am just writing here, okay, PHP code. Again HTML I am writing. Again I have to write here PHP, okay, to close this one. Okay, for HTML we don't have to write this one. Only when we are writing this PHP we have to open and close this one. Then here I have just closed the form. Below that I am having one horizontal line. Okay, you can see here after each group I am having this horizontal line. So for that I have just given that one. And else, okay, if I am not having any group inside the database, then I will be getting this message, no groups to display, and I am just displaying inside this container. Then again I have just opened and closed. Then below that we are just displaying the user data. Okay, now we are having this if condition, right? Now this if condition, if this if condition fails, okay, if this entire if condition fails, I will be coming here, okay, inside this else. Whatever I am having inside this else, that will be executed. Okay, now for this vote button I have given the type is equal to submit, and here I have just created the form, and for this form I have given the action. Whenever I click on the vote button, I should be redirected to voting.php, and that file is present inside actions folder. And also here I am just passing here method is equal to post. Now let me just come to voting.php. Inside actions folder I have just created this voting.php. Now inside this, first I am just starting the session. I am just including this connect.php. Then below that I am just accessing this group ID. Okay, whatever group votes I am having here, I have just created here 2 input hidden fields. Let me just come here. Okay, this I am just accessing. Now whatever value I am getting here, that value I will be getting. This group I am just accessing, I am storing inside this votes. Now suppose Khanam is there, Sanya is there, Sia is there, Rima is there. I am having 4 users. And 4 users are going to vote for the group. So each and every time I have to increase that vote by 1. So whatever value I am getting here, I am just increasing by 1. I am storing inside this total votes variable. Now here using this post, I am just going to access this ID. Okay, here inside this dashboard.php I have created the form. Inside that I have just created this 2 input field with the type is equal to hidden. Now for this, first I have just given this group votes. I am just accessing that one. I am storing inside this group ID. Inside this group votes, this value will be stored. How many groups that particular user is having, that groups will be stored, and that value will be accessed, and that will be stored inside this variable GID. Then here I have already started this session, and using this session I am just accessing the ID of the user. Okay, whichever user is going to vote for that group, I am just accessing that ID. I am storing inside this UID. Okay, the user ID I am accessing. Then finally I am just going to write the query for update. Now you can see here directly I am just going to execute the query, and here I am just passing the 2 parameters. First is the connection variable, and instead of passing SQL query, I am just directly writing the query. Okay, update table name, set votes. Okay, how many votes I am getting from here. Now suppose I am having 4 users. Now if 4 users are voting for the same group, then the vote should be updated to 4. So that 4 I am just storing inside this votes column. And here I am just telling where ID is equal to group ID, which means that whatever ID I am having from here, if it is equal to the group ID present inside the database, only for that group I have to update this votes. Okay, I have to not update for all the groups. I have to update only for that group for whichever we are voting. Only that group vote should be updated. And also here I am just setting the status is equal to 1 for user. Here you can see ID is equal to UID, and inside UID user ID will be stored, and inside this group ID whatever value I am having inside this group, okay, here whatever value I will be getting from this ID, I am just accessing that one. So here I will be having the group ID, and here I will be having the user ID. So I am just accessing the user ID here. Okay, whatever ID I am having inside the database, if it is matching with the user ID and if the user is voting for the group, then the status should be updated to 1. Then here I am just checking both the condition. Here I am having update votes and update status. If both the conditions are true, that means that the status is changed to 1 and also the number of votes has been updated. If both are true, then I am just selecting username, photo, votes ID from user data, where my standard is equal to group. Okay, wherever I am having group, I am just selecting that particular group data. Okay, whichever group I am having, I am just selecting that data. I am fetching all the data from the database, and here I am storing inside this groups variable. Once I am done with this, here I have just created this session variable, and inside that I am just passing this groups. Okay, now inside this session variable status, I have just changed the status. Okay, the value I have just changed to 1. Now once it is done successfully, I will be getting voting successful, and I will be redirected to the same file. Okay, partials folder. Inside that I am having dashboard.php. Suppose if I am having any error, if I am not able to vote, if I am having any technical glitches, then I will be getting this error, technical error, vote after some time. And again I will be redirected to dashboard.php, and from here I just have to vote again. This is how we are going to write the logic for the voting system. Okay, we have done both the front end part as well as back end part. Now you have to work on this, you have to practice on this, and you have to keep revising the concepts so that you don't forget. If you did not understand, you have to explore the concepts. Okay, if you are not getting what is this MySQL, don't stop here, just explore the concept, just learn what is this one, why we have to use this, just explore all these things. What is this update query, why we have to write this one, why we are setting the value, just update this one, watch the video again and again so that you will understand. Unless and until you don't understand the concept, don't stop learning. Keep learning that concept, and that concept you are going to master one day. Okay, this is how we are going to practice, and this is how we are going to do the projects. Unless and until we don't practice, we are not going to do any project. Okay, now once we are done with this, let me just come here. I'll just log out from here. I'll register using another user, and here I'm just going to give here Seema. Mobile number same I'm going to give, password 123, confirm password 123, choose file, and from here let me just select this image. Open. I'll just select here voter. I'll just click on register. Registration successful. Now I have to log in. Let me just log in using Seema. Here mobile number, password 123, voter, login. Okay, now you can see Seema data is been displayed. Seema is not voted because just now I have registered for Seema. Here I am having all the details of Seema. Image is been displayed, mobile number, and you can see the status is not voted, and here I am having all these buttons. Now let me just vote for book here. I'll just vote for book. Voting successful. Okay. Again I will be redirected to dashboard.php. Now all the buttons are disabled, and also whenever you can see the number of votes is been updated, and also the status is been changed now. Now inside the database, if I just refresh this one, inside this also the status will be changed, and also the number of votes that will be changed inside this one. You can see the status is changed to 1, and also the number of groups. Okay, now for group I am having only 1 vote, so that vote will be updated here. Okay, this is how we are going to work. You can improve this project, whatever concepts you have learned. You can just create 2 tables using primary key and foreign key concept. You can link both the tables, you can display the data, you can delete the data. Okay, whatever you want, you can just do that one. Okay, you have to explore by yourself. You have to learn how to encrypt the data, learn how to do password hashing, apply all the knowledge, and make this project from beginner level to advanced level. That's all from my end. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.